Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. I'm going to try to get through this show not too long because y'all know when I go past a certain time, YouTube starts acting up. Everything starts going crazy. I reached out to YouTube and they're checking on the issue on why I keep having those technical difficulties when I do shows. We'll figure it out though. So today's topic is called pandering, right? I've sent this link to Ace Metaphor, aka Tony Knowles. He has this link. You guys, a lot has happened since we last spoke, right? Some of you guys don't know what's been going on, but a few of you guys know. It started with me doing a meme that was a picture of Derek Jackson and Ace Metaphor, aka Tony Knowles. I had them together. If anybody's seen that movie, Step Brothers, I used that picture that they took together and I put Tony and Derek's face over that, right? So that meme, I posted it and everybody started commenting. It started to get shared. And guess who came onto the post? So Ace Metaphor came on the post and clearly I got him in his feelings because not only did he acknowledge the meme, he wanted to know why I was so deep in his pockets. Guys, I want to let you know one thing. These YouTubers and people who do all this pandering, their income, it's online. Okay? YouTube puts the shit out there. Your investors put the shit out there. I did not dox him. Okay? Now, y'all know I can easily dox Tony. Easy, right? Easy. But, I'm being nice. I was sent some information in regard to someone that actually knows him. And there's a lot of things that he hasn't told his female followers, his hyenas. There's a lot of things that he hasn't told them that I know, but that is not public information. And I don't want to get in trouble. Okay. So some things I won't say, but I did not dox him. That's one thing. So Tony was more concerned with me posting his income. All of this stuff is public. So when I can pull it off of Google, it's free game. You can't sit there and say, oh my goodness, why? No, no, no. It is free game. Anybody can Google it and see it, right? So Tony came onto my post and told me that I'm too deep into his pockets. I need to basically mind my own business. I can actually read it to you guys. I want y'all to tell me if you feel that he was in his feelings or was this just a normal post. Now, mind you, Ace Metaphor, aka Tony, he's this guy that has almost 1 million followers on Instagram. He's over 1 million followers on TikTok. He's a pretty busy panderer, right? He's busy. So you wouldn't think that this man would have time to write this long ass mad graph. Y'all know I call them mad graphs. It's another word for paragraphs of people saying much or nothing. So for this man to actually take time to comment to me for free when you're over here charging women $200 for 30 minutes, right? You would think a comment from him costed money. But this man actually typed a long mad graph. And this is what it said. He said it's actually, and mind you, I might mispronounce something, but that's how he wrote it. I'm going to read it to you as he wrote it. Okay. Okay. It's actually concerning. You are so concerned about my pockets. I seen you are other posts as well. That's what he said. You are, guys. Listen, first, I'll never apologize for making money doing something I'm passionate about and being in a position to pay other people that look like me. I've 1099'd over 60 black folk this year, meaning I paid them at least $600. Some I've even paid livable salaries too. Second, as far as the life coach, you keep bringing up, I've done maybe 4 or 5 coaching sessions this year. 4 or 5 coaching sessions. Now we know he charges minimum $200. Okay, I keep going. All right. I literally only have it available so that if one of my supporters want private advice, the opportunity is there. And I priced it for what I feel is worth me stopping what I'm doing or taking time away from my family to handle the call. I get it. You don't agree with my content. Cool. But this whole thing trying to count my pockets is odd. That's what Tony said. He admitted that he has done 4 to 5 sessions. Now, you know how many you done. It shouldn't be an or, right? You would know the definitive amount. You would say, I did 5 sessions. I did 2. He said 4 or 5. He don't even know what he did. So if we know that the minimum session is $200, we know that he's made at least a stack off of these women, right? If we go off of the minimum. right? We don't know if it was a video call where they paid $300. We don't know, right? Okay. He also said that I was concerned about his money. Again, you guys, his whole salary and everything is online. I only post what is public, what I'm allowed to post, right? So this was my response. When he wrote that long ass paragraph, a lot of my followers were really shocked by that. Because if you go to his Facebook, he has all the support from his hyenas. You are wonderful. Congratulations on 1 million followers. Ooh, 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 and he don't reply to them. No, thank you. Thank you, Black Queen. Thank you, my beautiful Black sister. Thank you, my beautiful, intelligent. Nothing. No thank yous, right? Nothing from these women, not even a thank you. He wrote over 100 words to me, but he can't even write a few words to these women who actually pay his salary, right? Okay, let me move on. So this is what the Queen of Accountability said to Tony. I said, concerned about your pockets or advising women when you are not qualified to give life coaching. I said, I don't care how many people you've employed. I really don't. Where's the accountability for women? You scream on the mic like you are reaching the masses. What have you done for free to help people? What have you done positive for men other than call them toxic? You and Derek are identical. How can you give relationship advice to women when your relationship status is private? You pander, point blank. I can post what I want on my page. Your pockets is public information. Do me a favor and hold women accountable too, and watch your following. We know you won't, because your motto is money over morals. Have a blessed day. And if you need coaching from a degreed individual, I got you. And then I added, also, it's your, okay? Because he used your wrong, and that's a big thing for me. I hate when people use the you are to say something when it should be your by itself. But that's another topic. So I told him, which is why you need to take your ass to school. Because we know that Tony ain't got no kind of education. And that is clearly why. How can a man that can't even form a sentence write a book? So we know that he's not really writing his books. He probably has somebody writing them for him, right? Typing it up. Because if you're going to type a long mad graph to me, you better come correct, right? But again, guys, this is coming from Ace Metaphor. Now, mind you, if I was as big as him, I would never reply to someone like me. I would look at their followers and say they're not even on my level, right? That's what I would do. But the fact that this man took time, and he didn't just reply once, guys. He replied twice to me, and it was long, drawn out paragraphs. That's what it was. So this man did all this for free when he could have been helping somebody pay their rent. You're telling me that you've employed that many people and you've given them at least $60? That means he could have $600. That means he could have gave them $50, $20. He's basically saying the max I gave them was $600. But this man is worth $5 million this year. $5 million motherfucking dollars this year. What's $600 to $5 million, right? So again, he's claiming he's employed over 60 people, but none of those people have come out saying, thank you, Tony. You have changed my life. You employed me when nobody else would, and you paid me a decent salary. So come on, you guys. I've given out more money than he has probably with the people he's employed. I've given out more free shirts. Okay? Nothing in return. I never got a return on investment over what I did for people, right? But here's this man out here lying to you women, making you think that life is great, making you think that you can do no wrong, and then you guys are spending your money. So what bothers me is how women, Black women, I'm going to say Black women because it's mostly y'all come for me and you say I don't care about you guys. You say all I do is hold women accountable. But then when I put somebody like Tony and Derek in the limelight, y'all still mad at me. Y'all telling me to mind my business. I can't win for losing when it comes to these hyenas. They're hypocritical hyenas. That's a woman who will not say that you're right. Instead, they will point fingers and say you're wrong and it's the man's fault. Those are called hypocritical hyenas because they're the biggest hypocrites. They say one thing and then do another. When Kevin Samuels was telling y'all to lose weight, when he was telling y'all that the reason why you're single is because you're toxic, the reason why you're single is because you're not in good shape, the reason why you're single is because you're not attractive, he was telling women the truth. They hated Kevin Samuels. They were glad when he died. Kevin Samuels didn't have a degree. He attempted to go to college, but he got cancer, right? That's the reason why he didn't continue his degree. He could have died, right? But you women love bringing up how this man was not degreed, didn't have any credentials. The only thing he was allowed to do was give you advice on your image. He was an image consultant. That's what he was. And y'all hated when he brought up what you can do in a relationship because y'all said he had 2 failed marriages, right? So how come you had no problem with doxing Kevin, calling him gay, saying that he had 2 bad marriages? It's his fault. He's just mad. He's bitter. He is not even qualified. Where are your credentials? What school does he go to? But then when Tony puts on a shirt and tells you women that you are perfect, y'all don't even care about his credentials, right? It doesn't matter. Like I told you guys, when men are telling a woman everything she wants to hear, she doesn't give a fuck about his history. She doesn't care about his past. That's why a lot of you women are single with kids now, because you allowed that man to finesse you. You were so blinded by the big dick that you weren't using your big brain. That's your fault. Your fault. But when you got a woman trying to tell you to be careful, because one thing about women, we are emotional creatures, real talk. So if we have been through bad relationships and we tell this to a man, yeah, this man never said I was beautiful. This man said I was fat as fuck. This man said my wigs look dry. This man said that I'd never be married. When you tell that to a man who's all about getting money, he's a for-profit type of man. He's going to say, you are beautiful. You don't need to lose weight. That man is fucked up. That man is toxic. That man didn't know how to handle you, you beautiful black queen. He's going to play on those things because you've already told him. So ladies, I'm trying to protect y'all dumbasses, but you guys are quick to say that I'm wrong. Here I am holding black men accountable and y'all won't even let me. Make it make sense. And the thing about it is people say, don't knock his hustle. I'm not knocking his hustle. I'm exposing it. There's a big fucking difference. Because some of these women don't know that they're being hustled because they let their guard all the way fucking down. Once a woman lets her guard down, it's free game. You could do whatever you want, say whatever you want, and you got this woman right here on the tip of your finger. That's how it is. That's how women are. When their guard is down, they're not thinking. They're not thinking that I'm giving money to a lying ass nigga. They're thinking I'm giving money to a man who actually cares about me, who actually sees the beauty in me. And what Tony is doing is he's not telling these women, you're not doing good in relationships because it's you. You're the problem. Women never want to hear that they're the problem. If you tell them that, they hate you. Because Tony can go from this ace metaphor, great guy, ooh, he's good, to you a dusty ass, small shirt wearing, wannabe Derek Jackson ass nigga. That's how women are. When they're on your side, you are the bomb. Oh, I like you. Oh, you sexy. You look good. Oh, keep wearing them shirts, daddy. But then when you tell these hyenas, lose weight, you ain't nothing but a receding hairline, motherfucking nerd wearing glasses, they will go in on you. And I'm not lying. I'm a woman, so I know the way it works. That's the way it works. What I'm trying to tell you guys is that if you're going to be giving people advice, at least tell them more about you. What gives you the right to tell someone what to avoid unless you're doing that shit right now? We all saw Derek Jackson tell women, I love flaws and I love stretch marks, right? And yet he was pouncing in the bed with another woman, right? So in order for a man to actually be saying some real shit, they have to be open. Any life coach, anyone that does this, relationship coaching, advice, you know about them. They tell you about them. That's what makes the rapport building happen, right? You got to know a little bit something about them in order for me to open up to you. But we know nothing. We don't know much, right? So all I'm saying is that if you're going to be out here telling women how to do this and do that, you better make sure that you are correct. Because I would never tell someone how to be married and stay married if I ain't fucking married, right? Right? Because these women listen to Steve Harvey every day, who's had many failed marriages, right? But y'all love him, but y'all hated Kevin. You got to let it, come on, ladies. And some of you guys are just as toxic as these men. But that man ain't going to tell you that. I will. I know how women work. I've seen it. I coach these type of women in real life for free. No charge, right? Because my advice is free. Because I believe in giving back. Am I rich like Tony? Hell the fuck no. And the only way I ever get to his numbers is if I change up. And I say men ain't shit, right? But I'm not going to do that. But if he's going to make all this money, at least give something back. Show me that you're not just another Derek Jackson. Because right now, you are the blueprint of Derek Jackson. Y'all do the same shit. What makes you original? But what I can't let you do is steal from people. I went to college to get these credentials, my nigga. So with me, I'm not even charging people. And here you are charging. I have a family too. I'm actually married. If you ain't in no relationship, what the fuck are you doing? How are you that busy where you cannot do something for free? I bet you my calendar is more thicker than his. Because I do a lot of free shit. It's called volunteering. I just don't need the recognition, right? But I want y'all to know I do a lot of shit outside of here. I have a very busy schedule. But I tell people, if it's 911, tell me 911 that you really got to talk to me, and I'm going to call you. Anybody can attest to that. I've spoken to at least 50 people this month alone. I care. I really fucking care. So when I see somebody that really don't give a fuck, taking money from other people, I have to step up, you guys. I do. I have to step up. So hold on, guys. I'm looking in the comments here. Sorry, guys. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, looks like we have Ace Metaphor on the show. I'm shocked. He took time out of his schedule.
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I've been using that word. Hyena. Can you mute your phone, please? I want to talk to Ace. Hold on. Okay, so Ace, I definitely want to give you the floor because I mean, a lot of people want to know what you do, why you do it, and again, if I am saying something that's different than what you think, let's solve that today. Go ahead, you got the floor.
Well, I just wanted to come on, man. I really do appreciate what you're doing. I saw your post and I thought that it was pretty interesting. So I know you had made a call out for me to join your show, and I actually wanted to do that. So what I was thinking is maybe you ask me the things that you are concerned about, and I can try to answer the best of my ability.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me that I can ask you. Let me ask you first before I go, or before I start talking. Can my listeners also ask you questions too?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So first I want to say, because I swear to God, I did not expect you to come onto this show. People are usually terrified of me. They know what I do for a living. And one thing I want to say is I appreciate this, man. Like I said, you're way bigger than I am. And this is different. You know, I've had people come on here, but I just want to say thank you for that. So
no problem.
I will ask you some questions, and then I'll let my listeners ask too. Guys, before I start adding you guys, I want him to have the floor by himself, and then I add you guys. All right. So please do not try to get on. I'm not going to add you. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, Tony. So I've looked at, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to give you that respect. Ace Metaphor. I've looked at your content, and when I go on your Instagram, a lot of your videos, majority of them, you're talking about men, toxic men, toxic men. So my first question to you, how come I don't see the same energy when it comes to toxic women?
I don't have that passion. That's not my passion nor my experience. So like my lives, especially my content that are on my page, is from live. So I'll do a live like you're doing here on YouTube, and I'll have 500 women watching that live, and they'll ask me questions. So obviously the subject of my reply is a woman, and they're asking me about these relationship issues that they're experiencing. And so I direct it towards that. So when we're talking about women, I don't have men coming on my show asking about women. However, I have a podcast called Tonight's Conversation where we get into those different perspectives and nuances. But for me, I don't have the passion to necessarily quote unquote hold a woman accountable. I let other people do that. You know what I'm saying? But my passion is avoiding toxicity, leaving relationships that are not healthy for you, that's not upbuilding or improving those situations.
That was deep. So let me ask you this. When you're giving advice to your female following, how do you expect them to grow if they don't know that majority of them are the actual problem? It's not these men, it's them. How can you help them if you're only holding one side?
But then at the same time, you got to think I'm speaking to the whole internet. I'm not speaking to one specific person, if that makes sense. So like if I was doing a quote unquote coaching call, which we'll get into that. Like I've only done 4 this year. I really don't do those often. But like if I'm talking to someone one-on-one, then I can dive into the nuances or the details that give personalized advice. But for me to say the majority, like if I have a combined 3 million followers, for me to say blindly without knowing that specific woman or that specific situation and say, hey, you're the problem, I'm going off of what they're reporting to me. So if you say in a question, hey, I'm dealing with a narcissistic person and they're neglecting me, blah, 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 I can address that in a broad sense. But if you're telling me, why don't I go and say, well, no, lady, you're the problem. If I don't know their specific situation, how can I do that?
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So when you
Hmm.
do these Instagram posts like you do when you put
Hmm.
like men are the problem, avoid toxic men, that's coming from your listeners. They're sending you that. So how
I've
come you
never
don't? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've never put men are the problem. I don't even say men. I'll be very descriptive. That's why I say toxic men, which is a type of man. I'll say unprepared men. I believe the vast majority of men are proficient. I feel like that there is a lot of good men, but I'm specifically talking about the ones that are toxic, that are not prepared for relationships. So if you watch, like I know you had posted something about go to his last 10 or 15 clips.
Yes.
I specifically say, hey, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's toxic or this or that, no one's talking about if you're in a healthy, functional relationship. And even in those clips, granted, they're 60 seconds, so it's only so much you can get across. In those clips, I'll even direct. That's why you have to find someone that can do this and can do that. We often say, like, listen, I got this podcast where I have all sorts of people come and talk, right? A lot of red pill guys, purple pill guys, everything, right? Some of my castmates are those type of thinkers. So I have
Right.
these conversations all the time. We say the same thing, just a different approach. If you have a woman that is picking wrong, she's picking men and having children by men that are going to be deadbeats, men that are not going to take care of their children. We'll say you should have picked better. Quit being a pookie picker. You're choosing losers. We'll say all these different things. I'm saying the same thing, but the sandwich is prepared differently. It's not going to be with shame and hostility. I'm trying to actually reach people. So like, I don't see the difference. So maybe you can explain to me what's the difference in the messaging. Like we
Okay.
know that there's toxic people. If
Yeah.
the argument is, and I think I read, and my bad if I'm taking too much of your floor, but I think
You're
I
not.
read one of your comments. It's saying like if you're saying, okay, there needs to be more balance there. My biggest retort to that is I agree. Like if you're coming to my page and you're saying, man, I don't see a lot of balance. If you take my Ace Metaphor page independently, I can understand why you're saying that, because that's what Ace Metaphor Tony, that's what I'm passionate about. I'm not necessarily, I like spaghetti. Like I want to bake spaghetti. I don't necessarily want people coming to my page expecting me to make a hamburger. I'm a spaghetti shop. However, what I did was a few years ago or 2 years ago, I saw the need for that. And I created a platform called Tonight's Conversation. And on that platform, like I said, I've had over 50 or 60 different guests from all walks of life, therapists, life coaches, um, social workers, abuse victims, this, that, and the other, red pill guys. And I give them that platform. And that same platform that I'm talking about, Tonight's Conversation, has a combined over 2 million followers. And I post different perspectives, whether you're talking about what women can do better, weight, this, that. I post that. That's still my brand. Every piece of content that's on there, I've had edited, I've chosen with my eye, and I've posted it and uploaded myself. So it's like, it's not that Ace Metaphor as a brand is imbalanced. It's just if you come to my page, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about on my Instagram page, my Ace Metaphor page, but my Tonight's Conversation page has all sorts of different viewpoints.
Okay, so you definitely said a lot. And what I'm trying to explain to you is like, you've been doing this tonight's conversation and your videos. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing Ace Metaphor videos probably since 2016 or
Okay.
so.
When were you recognized? Because I know in 2016 when I was out there advocating, I your name never came across my table. It was Derek's. So
Well, we
become
know Derek
did
was.
when did you become a household name?
Um, man, I'm still not sure if I'm a household name, but I would probably say, I mean, I probably on Facebook hit a million around maybe 2018, around there.
So what I'm trying to explain to you is they call me before I lost my first page, I was
Hmm.
celebrity. A lot of my content has been shared. What I do is I not only hold men accountable, but I hold more women accountable because women are doing more things that are out of the ordinary than men. And if you
Mhm.
have been telling them that they're right and that these men are toxic and it's the men, when I went to your page, and even if it is 60 seconds, you still say a lot of words in that amount of time. But when I look at the heading of all your videos, it's about men, toxic men. You're right. Just like I talk about toxic women and toxic men, there has to be a balance, because when you're doing more on one side, how can someone not say this man must hate other men? Because he's never telling these same women that what are you doing to attract these toxic men? I'm a woman myself, Tony, and I've done this. I've done so many
Mhm.
different things where I come with receipts and facts that women are way more toxic now than men. But they will sit here and tell you what you want to hear so that you can respond like this on video. And what it does is it tells other people that, okay, this man is never going to hold women accountable. And mind you, I can honestly say that half of your base is women. Am I right about that?
90.
90%?
Yeah.
Whoa. So, I mean, as a black man, how does that make you feel? Don't you want to reach men too? If there are toxic men like you speak of in these videos, wouldn't you want to help them as well so that they can do better with these women that are telling you that they're not doing so good? So, I would be very uncomfortable with that type of 90-10 thing, because if I'm trying to reach all my people, I would want there to be at least a close balance. Even if it's like, 60-40, at least I know we're close, we're getting there, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is when you came across my table, I looked and I'm like, who is this guy? Because I first didn't know who you were, but I have seen the conversation card thing on my timeline, and I didn't even ask for
Mhm.
a seat there. So I did my research on you, and I said, okay, if this man is telling these women all of this, what's his relationship like? Because I'm telling you, I'm sure you sat with relationship coaches and all that, but majority of people who do this, they have an example for you to look up to. What's your example, Tony? So if I was a woman that loved what you said, and I said, hey, Tony, what is your
Mhm.
relationship like, sir? Because you're telling me all this. Who are you with? Are you married? Tell us that.
Okay, a couple things. I'll address that question. First, no, I'm not married. But before I go into that, I want to just go back a little bit. The the 90 split. I mean, I can't. That. I mean, I'm actually flattered. You know what I mean? To be honest, that so many women trust and have that social proof to say, okay, I'm gonna get this man a follow. So I don't feel bad about that. You know what I mean? I grew up in a house full of women. My mother raised me by herself. My aunties, my grandmas, our family was like a lot of black communities, very matriarchal. And then when I went into college, you know what I mean, I went to be a nurse and I did that for about 10 years and I worked around women, a whole bunch of women. It's a comfort zone for me. I don't really have a problem with that space. And that I think that's why, you know what I'm saying, a lot of women do relate to me and give me that follow. So I don't have an issue with it being 90, to be frankly. I don't. But even with the 10%, you're still talking about 200, 300,000 men. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just well, not probably not that much, about 100,000. So, but the example part, I do agree with what you're saying. I do think that there is some growth that will happen naturally when I do get married. I do think that when you be able to experience things firsthand, you will have a different perspective. So I don't argue with the merit of what you're saying. Yes, I'm in a relationship. Yes, I'm in a committed relationship. Yes, I do live with my girlfriend, and yes, we're progressing towards marriage. But those things are not actually being married. So there is a fundamental difference. I think you bring a viewpoint that I can't bring because I'm not married. So that's why I feel like your viewpoint and your outlook is as valuable, if not more, to people that are married. My lane has always been in the scope of dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, rarely do I address messages about marriage in my content. It's mostly about dating, finding that right person, finding somebody you're compatible with, making sure you move on from people that don't serve you or don't fit what you're looking for, not settling. That's my message. And I don't really think that you have to be married in order to give that message. And I think it strikes to where you were asking about my credentials or my credibility. Um, the one beautiful thing that we have is the social proof. Anybody that chooses to support me, whether it's a follow, a like, an engagement with one of my posts, whether it's supporting a product or coming to a tour, they get to watch hours of free content online to decide whether or not they feel like this is somebody I want to support, or this is somebody I want to talk to, or this is somebody that I can trust their advice. And I don't think that we can neglect the importance of having that social proof. So yeah, I'm not married. But
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that I have to be in order to give advice in the lane that I'm giving it.
Okay, so let me interrupt you 1 second. So I
Mhm.
don't know if you heard me earlier, but I said most people I know are either married or in a relationship giving advice. So now you're telling me you're in a relationship. Do you think your 90% female base knew that? You're so private. But hold on, before you answer, when
Mhm.
you're out there telling women these things on how they can grow and be better and avoid toxic this and that, shouldn't you be open to your personal life too? Because the
I,
first thing people are going to do is they're going to say, well, we don't even know about you. I mean, how can someone do this and have this big following, but we don't know anything about you? Everybody has a bio. They, even if you didn't want to say her name, that's fine. You could say in a healthy, committed relationship, bringing back, doing this to give back
mhm.
to people. So what was the reason for you being so private? Like now people are finding out today, oh, he's in a relationship. Why hide it?
You know what's interesting is not hidden. I mean, I would probably say I do like what 3 hour long lives per week. I would probably say I reference my relationship at least once or twice during those lives and use my relationship as an example.
Mm.
My lady comes to most of our shows that we do. She works the door or she'll do my merch table. It is not a secret. I post her on my stories. It's not a secret. Now, the difference is I can't go to each individual person and say, hey, look, I'm in a relationship. And then the bio thing, nah, I've never thought to do that. Now, I mean, I've never thought to say I'm in a relationship in my bio. So I haven't even thought to do that. But my relationship isn't secret or hidden. So that's the first thing. It just if you don't follow like me, like you actual follow me and really, you know, engage with the content, the lives, the podcast is on the app, you probably won't know that. So I'll give you that one.
And like I said earlier, usually what I do is I do some things where I can find out a lot about someone, but I don't
Hmm.
just do that for the hell of it. So when I looked you up, I always want to see what's public. What if I was just someone that just got put on to this ace metaphor gentleman and someone told me he is great at what he does, I would be like, well, I don't see anything on him that says he's in a relationship. I knew about you being raised by your mom. I know a lot about you already. I just didn't know if you were in a relationship because that's not nothing that we can just find on Google. And
I
again,
agree.
I don't follow you heavy. So I would have never seen that you were in a relationship. But what I'm saying is when you were giving out advice, a lot of people felt like you were giving it from a space where you were single because clearly they didn't know that you were in a
Hmm.
relationship. My followers are now shocked because they're like, oh, he's actually in a relationship. Maybe you should do more to promote that healthy relationship because when you're giving someone advice, they're visual creatures. They hear what you say, but it helps you when you actually open up a little bit. Like when I tell my followers about me losing my mother and grandmother and suffering with mental health, you have to be willing to give them something to hold on to so that they can actually trust what you're saying is true and it's coming from a valid place. So I'm trying to actually help you too, because again, I'm not one that's going to tell someone to go to college and do right if I'm not doing it. So again, I'm clearly trying to offer you pointers, not saying that you need them, but if you're trying to
Nah,
grow a
nah, that's
base if you're
that.
trying to grow a base of people that's going to listen to what you say, analyze what you say, not look at it as a money grab, because I'm telling you, what either you and Derek know each other very well because you guys have the same mannerisms. If you go to his page, he has the same descriptions in his videos. You guys are identical. So it made me think that you're just like him because you guys are moving exactly alike. That's
Can
why,
I respond to that?
yeah, please,
I
please,
want to
please.
respond to a couple of things.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
want to because this is originally the reason why um how I was aware of you. One of my friends sent something to my group chat. So it was on my personal page group chat. And he said, hey, do you know this lady? Yada, yada, yada. And then I went and I had seen the compare. It was the one where you were talking about how much I charge for here compared to what you charge. And so that's the first one. And then they sent the second one that you did. And so that's how I became aware. But the money grab thing yeah. Can I admit that kind of scratched the ear, like irritated me a little bit. Yeah, it kind of did. The reason it did is because, and I said it in the post, and I just want to say it for your listeners right now. Like I'll never apologize for making money, doing something I'm passionate about. as much as, and I respect you and your listeners, but before today, you guys have never talked to me. You never sat down and got to know me. You don't know me as a person. Now, you may figure and try to assume what my intent is and this, that, and the other, but you don't know me. And so the money grab thing is always a sore spot for me because it's a way to kind of invalidate what I'm doing and what I'm passionate about. Like, I wish for everybody watching right now, whatever it is that you're most passionate about in life, that you can make money doing it. But let me just, that's the put the bed on that one. But like, most of the money I make is my businesses, and that has nothing to do with my content that I push. If I went to my, like, if, and I, it ain't nobody's business, but if I opened up like my ace meta, like my pure ace metaphor money, like just pure ace metaphor, I don't charge people. Like I told you, I had 4 coaching calls this year probably, and I had to think hard on that. Like, I put those prices on there simply because when it was too low, I would get it too much, and I didn't have time to really do it. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to keep that availability for people. But for the most part, people, just because they follow you, don't support you. Just because they like your videos and engage with your content and share it with people, that don't mean they're going to support you and buy your stuff. When I had books and shirts, I'd make a decent amount of money, but I still have my job. I used to work as a nurse. When I would do tours, I would lose money doing tours. I would put up $50,000 to do a tour and only make 42 back, and I still had to pay people. So this idea that you can just turn on the camera and pander to women and they're going to make you a millionaire is a fallacy. It is a fallacy. That's the thing that really just be perturbing me, is that people think that. Like, even on Facebook, all the views I get on Facebook, they send me a $5,000 check every month for all those views. Like, it's not the content that do it. If I went on live right now on my Instagram and I had 600 people watching and I had the badges turned on and I was working my shit, like I was going in, and I'm like, yo, buy some badges, I'll probably get done with that live and make $3.70. So like, for people to keep equating how much I've made based off of me pandering is it's just off base. You know what I'm saying? It's a off base way of thinking. I've made what I've made and become, I would like to think, somewhat successful because I've applied myself from a business sense, and I've created businesses that's sustainable without me having to be the face of it. And so that's where the money comes from. And I'm sure, anybody with a platform knows, just because you can make somebody laugh don't mean they're gonna buy a ticket somewhere. Just because you can inspire somebody don't mean they're gonna pay $12.99 to subscribe to your streaming service. It's a little bit more than that. So I just want everybody watching to know that. And lastly, if it was that easy, people dumb as hell not doing it. If it was that easy, all you had to do was quote unquote tell lies to women and they was gonna send you their money, then why ain't everybody doing it? And to respond to the Derek thing, me and Derek used to tour. We did a tour together.
I'm aware.
Uh,
I know about you.
Um,
I know
I
about
used
his wife helping out, people helping out with the merchant. I know all about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
So I and I'm being transparent. I used to consider Derek. He's younger than me, but I used to consider him before I got to know him and before we started working together and we did a couple other things together. I looked up to Derek, not from a sense of that I liked his content. Like, if y'all thought I was bashing that nigga, I really feel like he bashed for real. But like, it's not that I liked his content as far as the approach that he had, but I did like his business regimen. I did like the way that he monetized his content. Because no matter how good you want to be at this, man, if you got to work 12 hours at a job and then try to come home and give your fans and your followers your best, you can't do that. And so I watched from afar and learned the things that he was doing. But I did that not just with Derek Jackson. I did that with Just Mike the Poet. I did that with B. Simone. I did that with influencers. I'm like, how are they making this thing happen? I did that with Kevin Samuels. Like, you watch and you learn and you take little tidbits that they're doing well from the business aspect. Not that I agree with Kevin on a lot of things. Not that I agree with Derek. So when you say it mirrors, of course it does, because I ain't no hating ass nigga. Like, I'm from the slums like everybody else. I ain't trying to go back being broke. So when I see people doing things and it looks like it's a smart from a business sense, I'm a learn whether I agree with him or not. Like Kevin had a lot of things from a business sense, professional sense. Even his coaching calls was $1,000. Mine is only 400. But like I watched that and I was like, bro, he doing his thing. So I can separate, whether I like your content personally from I like what you're doing from a business sense. And that's what I was able to do with Derek. I actually thought before the scandal, I actually thought Derek was a pretty cool guy. So
Okay. Let me because I know you just said a whole bunch of stuff and I'm trying to pick and choose what I want to respond to.
mm-hmm.
You said that you watched what he did and you like the business sense of everything.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what I'm saying is, what would have been wrong with you creating your own lane? Like me, you see, I've been doing this just as long as you, maybe even longer. And even though I might not have the same following that you guys both have, I come from a real place and I haven't switched up my game. You can't
Mm-hmm.
compare me to no one. Can you compare me to anyone? What I do to anyone that you know right now that's on there doing this?
I don't, I don't, I don't think I can.
Do you see the
Now,
difference? But hold on, let
mhm,
me finish. So when people see like you only talking about men, toxic men, that's what Derek does too. We know that. But what I'm saying to you, what is wrong with you doing the same amount of videos of why women are still single, why they can't let go of that hurt and pain from someone else, why they need to go get their mental health evaluated? What would be wrong with you changing the scope? Because you and I both know that the minute you start holding these women accountable, you will start losing your fan base. They like you
listen.
because, hold on, they like you
Mhm.
because you're a man. You're not an ugly man to society. I mean, if you look like Flavor Flav, they would have second guessing, like, who are you dating, right?
Probably,
So looks
probably.
matter. Your delivery matters. And
Yeah.
because you're a man saying what a lot of these females want to hear, they will continue to ride your train, because when they're vulnerable and they let their guard down, they'll hear anything and think, oh, that's some real shit right there. But they're still single. They're still unmarried. Nobody's still dating them. They still have all this hate. They still have this bitterness. So how are you effectively helping the black women when they're still the same even after hearing your words? Because you're not telling them that it's them. They are the fucking problem. Women have got away with being told that you're beautiful, no flaws. You have a lot of flaws, just like men, if not worse. Women need to be held accountable because men have been held accountable for ages. You were raised by your mother. I was raised by my dad. So what I'm saying is, men have it really hard now, harder than women. So why aren't we telling these same women, maybe it's you? Maybe you need to go see a psych. Maybe you need to reevaluate, maybe not having sex the first night you meet someone. Take your time. Work on your attitude. Shut the fuck up. You have to be direct to these women too. If you don't, they will continue to build your fan base, but these men are going to continue to call you a fraud because you're not holding these women. Most of your followers, they came in my inbox talking shit. Oh, Tony's our god, and you ain't nothing but an ugly ass bitch. These are your followers with all this hate. I thought they were cool because they like Tony. I thought they had great
Mhm.
attitudes. I thought you were giving
Yeah.
them good advice. Your followers are just as toxic. I can send you 50 screenshots of people that support you that said I need to die, that I ain't shit. I'm gonna be right next to Kevin Samuels. These are your followers. So this is what you're promoting, sir. Have any of
My,
my followers came in your inbox saying, I'm a follower of Daphne, you should die, Tony? I'm positive they don't, because I don't promote that. So do you get what I'm saying, sir?
I get that. So I think you said three things. I'm gonna respond to them. First thing is when I met that I watched Derek from as far, just like anybody else that I felt was moving in a way. I met from the business sense, and what I mean by business sense, I mean if I saw Derek promoting something and then did the swipe up feature on Instagram, I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna apply that to what I'm doing. If I seen somebody that came out with a tour in a book and they were selling merch at they tours and that's how they pay for the tours, I'm gonna implement that. I mean from that standpoint. I don't mean I implement like I imitated his swag. Like I don't really fuck it. Like I said, that's not what I mean. All right. So I wanted to clarify that. The second thing is I understand why you feel like that I don't quote unquote hold women accountable. I understand why that. I don't think you digest my content fully. I don't think the men that come to my page digest my content fully. So I'm not going to fight you on that, but just because you believe that I don't advise women on places where they can improve, like getting out the house, embracing their feminine aura, prioritizing their femininity first when you go on dates, when it comes to keeping your options open, when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, not thinking that just because you marry somebody that I that's part of my like dialogue. And I bet if I went on my page right now, I can find 10 videos within a few thumb clips of me actually saying where women can do better. It's just in a different scope, and it's taken with a different set of words that's more palatable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not abrasive. I'm naturally not a guy that's gonna be, you know, trying to shame people into to feeling bad. The men that I'm talking about in my videos are a group of it's a variable. I'm not going and saying I don't know somebody that's watching on YouTube that's watching this right now. It ain't like I'm going to Derek or let me just Eric B's page right now and talking shit about Eric B online. It's literally just the idea of a toxic man, but I'm using this example to say, women, hey, quit believing you can change this man. That's going to get you hurt. Quit giving this man children. If he's not, I'm saying the same thing y'all saying. So the fact of the matter is, I don't understand. That's why I think I posted that. I'm like, I don't understand how you can feel that we're saying two different things. Now, I do not agree that the majority of women are toxic. You know, I ain't met the majority of women, but I do know that there are some toxic women. But I don't necessarily agree that they're the main problem, just like I don't think guys the main problem. You've never heard me say that the men are the main problem. If I'm speaking to a specific situation, it is always advising women to do something differently. So how can you say, even using your definition of accountability, that I'm not holding women to accountable when the call of the action of the video is towards women? You get what I'm saying? Like the call of the action is, women, stop believing you can change a toxic man. Women, stop settling for unprepared men. Women, it's the call to action is toward women. So how am I any different? That's what I'm saying. Like, I want you to explain that to me because I don't understand it.
Okay, you just said women, stop settling for toxic men. So
Right.
Where is the accountability on women there when you just said toxic men? You're making the woman sound like she's perfect and it's the man's fault. Do you see what I'm saying? I would say women. Maybe that man is toxic because you have that aura of toxicity. Maybe it's you. Ladies, have you ever stopped to think, maybe I can't find a good man because I'm not good myself? Ladies, have you ever stopped and said, maybe I should go see a counselor? Maybe I should fix this pain that's been in me for years because I lost this person. Because I've never heard you say that. You just said, women, stop settling for toxic men. Women, stop giving these toxic men babies. So do you see? The women sound positive and the men sound negative. How is that going to help? Do you get what I'm saying? What I just told you. So if I said fellas, stop settling for toxic women. Who's the negative person in that statement? Who would you think is the negative person in that statement? Men or women?
The toxic women that you're referring to.
Okay, so when you say, ladies, stop settling for toxic men, you're putting that word toxic on there, right? So that makes the men look bad in that light. How are you helping the...
I disagree. Okay. Can I tell you why I disagree?
Yes, you can.
Stop playing with violent dogs. Don't try to pet untrained dogs. There's a difference. It's not me saying that having a dog as a pet is a bad idea. It's not me saying that dogs are dangerous. It's saying it's unwise to try to play fetch with a violent, aggressive, untrained dog. And that's why the adjectives are important. So if you're a man and you're offended by me specifying the type of men that I'm talking about, then do you fit in that type? I'm not indicting all men. So like, you get what I'm saying? So when you're saying like, okay, I'm making men seem negative. No, I'm talking about a specific type of man that me and you probably both agree women tend to keep giving attention to. So if women tend to keep giving attention to men that ain't on their purpose, that ain't walking with discipline, that don't know how to be fathers, that don't have their anger together, that don't know how to take care of their responsibilities, that leads to the single mother rate. Because you'll have women thinking that once they get with this man, they can change him, and they're going to change him from being this guy into a father figure that's going to stay and take care of their kids, and he won't. So what I'm saying is I don't see the problem, but I get what you're saying. You're saying You would like to see me do more videos calling out women for what they do wrong.
No,
And
that's not what
okay,
I'm saying.
okay,
What
go
I'm
ahead.
see Ace Metaphor do on a big platform like he has is in
Hmm.
the same light of you saying toxic men. Do 15 videos in a row about toxic women, where you're saying, fellas, avoid the toxic woman who just wants a child support check. Because that's the new hustle now, if you haven't noticed,
Hmm.
or do that and let's see what happens with your following. It won't get that many views. You'll probably get a lot of comments from women saying, well, Tony, this ain't like you. This ain't like you. What happened to us holding men accountable? See, it won't happen because if you change the narrative, you're going to get a different response. What I'm saying is, when you use the dog example, that's not what I'm talking about. Because you
Hmm.
said women avoid toxic men. So you're saying a specific sex to avoid the other sex. You see what I'm saying? So if I was to say, Tony, I want you to avoid toxic women, I'm saying that women are toxic.
No,
Why can't
no,
I say,
that's
why
not
can't,
the
hold on.
same. That's not the same. That's not synonyms, though. You get what I'm saying? Like,
How come
there's a
you can't say, ladies and gentlemen, you both have to avoid toxic
so
individuals?
so
Why
let
can't
me.
you do that? Is there a
Can I
problem with
respond to
that?
that?
Yes,
Can
you
I
can.
respond to that?
You can.
So when I used to do that, and it made it too, when you try to keep it ambiguous, it made it too difficult to do. Like if I go back to videos from like 2, 3 years ago, it would be person, people, them, they, he or she, he or she. It just
Right.
it's
And that doesn't get
difficult.
the attention until you attach men to it. Do you see
No,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no, no,
now? Okay, go
no,
ahead.
no.
Go ahead.
Hold
Go
on,
ahead.
hold on,
Go
hold
ahead.
on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Let me finish. What I'm saying is, it. I used to do that a lot. The biggest change though is I make my content from, and you'll see it. Like if you go, you'll see the chopped up content is literally me recording on Instagram Live in front of my Sony Alpha 7, and I'll take that content and I'll chop it up to what you see posted. So my point I'm trying to make is, like, I'm responding to, if more men followed me and more men asked me questions, I would answer their questions just the same. But you're asking me to make videos for, basically for men, when my whole page is 90% women. And I created another page to be able to serve that purpose. I created tonight's conversation for the purpose you're saying to me. The exact same thing you're saying is something I realized a year and some change ago. And that's why I created a completely different brand that's under the same umbrella. So it's the, you get what I'm saying? It both of, you see, I think you see Ace Metaphor and only Ace Metaphor. But when I talk about my brand, I see Ace Metaphor and tonight's conversation as left hand, right hand. You know what I'm saying? So I serve all people just on different platforms. So it's like having a platform where men can feel more comfortable following, because it's a little more palatable for them over there on tonight's conversation.
So you're saying that, are you talking about the conversation cards? Are you talking about, do you guys have
If you got, I don't know if you can get your Instagram up, but if you type in tonight's conversation cards on
Instagram?
Instagram, it's a podcast. So I have two different podcasts. One is called Tonight's Conversation Uncut, and one is called Tonight's Conversation Relationship 101.
Okay,
Um,
stop you there. So those two platforms you're saying is where you hold women accountable to, but your Ace Metaphor Instagram is specifically for your followers to tell you, yeah, how do I avoid toxic men? How do I avoid not having all these baby daddies? That's for that lane. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially.
But on your tonight's conversation, don't you
Mhm.
address both men and women, or is this more focused towards holding women accountable on this specific
It's
lane?
not. It's both men and
So
women.
how's
It's,
that fair? How's that fair, Tony? If
what do you
on
mean?
one platform your focus is really telling women to avoid certain men that are toxic, because you're not putting them all in one barrel, but then
Hmm.
tonight's conversation is a mixture of both. How are men winning in that if you're also talking about women when you already gave them that platform?
Um, you know, I'd have to think deeper on what you're trying to ask. Um, my my thought process when I created tonight's conversation is not to overcorrect. It was to more so create more balance. It was to create balanced discussions. It was to create a space where six different people with six different opinions can come and debate on topics, or add their opinions for healing or elevation, but it wasn't necessarily to say I'm going to create the reverse ace metaphor page. Like it wasn't that. It was more so, let me create and talk about things that over here I'm not necessarily passionate about for my personal brand. However, because I feel like there's value in having different perspectives, let me create that. Like, for example, somebody don't just follow me, yo. They have follow Ace Metaphor, Stefan Speaks, Kevin
Right.
Samuels, this person, that person. And so when they're scrolling, they're going to get multiple different opinions and outlooks. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I would imagine I'm not anyone's sole relationship guy or woman that they follow. You know what I mean? And plus the algorithm gonna throw more relationship stuff. I'm just focused on what I'm focused on. You know what I mean? Like, now, let me tell you something. If I was passionate about the other side, I would do it. I'm just not. Like, I can't fake it. Like, I can't fake being passionate about holding women accountable. That is not something I'm passionate about. Like,
Can I
in the
ask you
sense that
a
you're
question?
telling me, you know what I'm saying? In the sense that you're telling me, like, I'm not passionate about
Okay. So can I
that.
can I ask you this question? Do you think you not being passionate about it happens because you were raised by your mother? You just said you were raised by a single mother,
Absolutely.
correct? Okay, in a house full
Absolutely.
of girls. How many siblings did you have?
I had one brother, so my brother was there, but my mother was my superhero.
So
And
it was your no, hold on. So it was your mom, your superhero, and then there's
mhm,
just you and your brother. That's it.
yeah. And then but
I thought you said
obviously
you grew up with
aunties.
sisters.
No. I said aunties and grandmas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. I could have sworn you said sisters, so my bad. So it was just you and your brother, and your mom
Mhm.
raised you both, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think a lot of your content is biased because of how you were raised? Let me tell you why I'm thinking that. I grew up with my father. My mother died when I was very young. So my dad was my hero. But even though my dad was my hero, I'm still gonna hold women and men accountable together. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I watched
I
my dad
understand.
raise. Now me, it was three other siblings. It was three girls and a boy. So I probably had it rougher than you did, right? We could both say that. So what I'm trying to say to you is that even though I was raised by just my dad, I still
Mhm.
hold men and women accountable. But when you speak up and say that how you were raised, I think a lot of it comes from how you were raised. Your mom was like the dad and the mom, correct? She had your back. She told you everything you needed to know. So you're thinking there's great women like that, but that was then. We're talking about the new modern age women who think that men don't matter. Fuck men. The women that want to bring down a man's character. The women that want to lie on a man's character, get them locked up, put them on child support. This is the modern day women that we have to talk about. You can't base it off of how great your mother was, because I'm sure she was great. You're
That-
intelligent. I can tell you're articulate. The way you talk, she did a damn good job with you. But we're not talking about the kind of woman your mother was, a strong black woman. We're talking about these hyenas that are lying to you to do this kind of content when they're not telling you that they are actually the problem. It's them. And because you are one of those type of guys that actually probably care a little bit more about women because of how you were raised, you got to take that out of it. And you got to look at the modern day women. We're talking about the women that Kevin Samuels was talking about. We're talking about the women that Derek was fucking his wife over for. Those type of women, the home wreckers. See, at the end of the day, when you do what you're doing now, it's cool, but everyone's not going to pay to see the conversational stuff because you have to pay for that. We're talking about the free content that you give on Instagram for 60 seconds. See, on the conversational talk, most of your followers probably don't have $13. That's probably gonna hit their pockets. So what
yeah.
about those type of people that want to see you holding women accountable, but they got to pay to see it? So this is my question I have for you right now. What
Hmm.
have you done for free? Because let me tell you about me, Tony. I have a life too. I work a really good job, but that's because of my education, okay? But
Yeah.
I my calendar is stretched thin. I've never done two shows in 1 week. So I did this because I was hoping
Yeah.
you would come, and I appreciate your time. I know your time costs money too. But what I'm saying is I do free life coaching. People can call my cell phone and I will talk to them. I don't have any kids. I just have a husband, I have a dog, I have a great life. But I love doing things for free because my advice is free. I don't feel we
Yeah.
should charge people for shit they can get off of Google. But when they hear it from an actual person that's lived it, it makes them feel a little bit different, right? So,
Yeah.
my question to you, what have you done for free where somebody can say, yes, Tony, let me call him and we spoke for 10 minutes and it was free?
Man, you're not gonna like this answer, but I feel like I do a lot of things for free. I mean, but I'm gonna go specifically on just we're gonna stay on the Ace Metaphor platform, right? You're not talking about like my philanthropy outside of that, right? The
So
donations, the Boys and Girls Club,
if
the
someone
high
said I need
school
to talk
poetry
to
show.
you, if someone said Ace Metaphor, I really have to talk to you, I need your advice on something. Can I reach out to you for free? Would you do it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably won't see that. I won't see it. I don't respond. Like I have people do my DMs like for customer service or whatever, but I don't like go through my DMs anymore, if that makes sense. Um, so I wouldn't see it.
Do you not go on your comments? I went to your Instagram comments and you have a lot of women that could really
Barely,
use your voice.
barely.
I know you're big. I know that you're big in the platform. But
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
not
why
gonna
I'm
lie to you
asking.
though.
Have
Like,
you ever
I,
said, hold on, have you ever said today, I'm gonna take 10 minutes of my day? We get 24 hours. Do you
mhm,
have kids? Do you or your girlfriend have any kids?
no,
Okay, so that's off the table. So
mhm,
your most of your time comes from your businesses, correct?
yes,
Do you have assistants?
yes,
Do you have people that handle certain things where you don't have to handle them? Yes or no?
absolutely.
So in 24 hours, I have nothing. I do everything by myself and I still
Mhm.
manage to talk to 10 to 15 people a week for free. So this is what I'm saying to you, Tony. In
But
24 hours, you're telling me you can't take 10 minutes out of 24 hours to go through your comments and find one person that you can call and offer your services for free. You're telling me, no, you can't do that.
I'm saying to you, I haven't, and I'm telling you that what I consider the same thing we're talking about is the time I spend on live. I'll sit on that mug for 60 minutes going through 20 questions of people 3 times a week. Any question you have, I'll answer it. And then there's lives that I do and I actually bring people on. Like you use StreamYard, I do the same thing. I'll bring people on Instagram Live where they can talk to me personally. When it comes to the private though, the private conversations, um, that is, yes, something I charge for. That is a charge service, and that's a boundary of mine. You know what I mean? Like I have a boundary, and that is one of those boundaries. But when you talk about what do I do for free, 97% of what I do is for free. 97%.
Like what?
The amount of energy and effort it goes into creating content is immense. The Ace Metaphor thing be the reason I be damn near I be losing money trying to focus and keep up with that, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But I do that because I'm passionate and I know it helps people. I do the live still, even though I don't want to sometimes, but I do it still because I know people need advice and they need, you know what I'm saying, somebody, a listening ear sometimes. So like those are the things that I do. Even the tonight's conversation, most of I post every day on that. Editing, the the shooting, the organizing, all that stuff, for the most part, it's free. Now it's with hopes that you find, one or two people every day that's gonna support you enough to go buy something, but I don't shove it in their face. But the majority of what I do is free. And then, like I said, outside of that, my philanthropy in real life is off the hook. The stuff I do off the hook. I'm the turkeys for Thanksgiving, nigga. That's the thing I do. So
Okay.
like it's it's a thing. Um
So wait, somebody said you're getting paid for the content though. So the
no I'm
content
not.
you put
No I'm
out
not.
this YouTube and Facebook and all
No I'm
them not
not.
pay you. That's all free.
$5,000. No disrespect to my hardworking people out there. Don't, no disrespect. I just told you $5,000 Facebook pay me for 13, 14, 20 million views. They'll give me $5,000. You Instagram for the same amount of views, they give me $700. YouTube may send me $200-$300 a month. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else yeah. So all in all, if I just relied on stars, there's stars, like they can send you stars on Facebook, but that would be like $7,000 a month. And no disrespect to people, hardworking people. I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes, but you know what I'm saying? I don't really consider that paying me.
So let me say this. I can honestly say that there's a little bit in you where I know that you can do just a little bit more for free for some women and men. Because think about it, you just gave me an hour. This is like $300 of your time right now that I just spent.
Mm-hmm.
So what you did for me today for free, because guys, I want you to know that he did not ask me for a dime. I can honestly say that. Not one dime. You just gave me an hour of your personal time. So what would be wrong with spreading love like this to someone who might need it, where you're not charging them? What you just did for me, I could be a woman that's in need, right? Where I just need an ear, and you just did this for me. So what I'm saying is, I haven't seen anyone like testimonials of people saying, yes, Ace Metaphor, he had my back, or he helped me with my rent, or he did this. I don't see that enough. And you said that you
Dude,
do a lot outside of this, like me. I life
I give
coach.
away $100 5 or 6 times a week on my Cash App. I can pull it up right now.
No, you don't have to show me your cash. I didn't know you were doing
But
that. You do
but
that on Instagram?
yeah,
Oh,
just for people
wow.
watching.
You guys hear that? So that's something else I didn't know you did. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, not enough positivity on you is out there. It's your videos of you yelling in the mic, and people think that you're so direct and you're this and that. But again, you're telling me things that I did not know. And that's why I'm glad you came on the show. What I'm trying to tell you is, like me, I'm a slow moving page. And I knew that would happen because I hold both accountable. Women hate me because I tell people what other people are not going to say. Like
Yeah.
you, I don't expect you to tell a woman that the reason why she's single with 10 pookies is because she chose these men. She opened her
Hmm.
eyes to these men. I don't see you telling these women, you know, this man is a hoe, and yet you slept with them unprotected, had his baby, and now he ain't shit. No, you ain't shit. See, when you tell a woman to look in that mirror, that goes against the grain, and they will hate you for that. I'm sure you don't get death threats. I'm sure you didn't have to have a lot of people fired, police reports put out, but that's what I go through for holding people accountable, and I haven't changed up. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it wouldn't hurt for you to occasionally. I'm not going to tell you how to run your page because your hustle is working. But what I'm going to tell you is, you can't get mad at people for saying that you're just like Derek, because he does the same thing. It's one sex they always talk about. And he did it, and he was the nasty, toxic motherfucker that he was telling women to avoid. Not
Yeah,
only that,
I ain't cheating. Now I can say this. Let me just say this out
you
loud
ain't
for
a cheater.
everybody. I ain't cheating.
Okay. No,
I
but
ain't cheating.
you see what they did to
Hey,
Derek.
listen, I ain't cheating. Now, I ain't saying I ain't never cheated. I ain't never cheated in this relationship. I've cheated before. I've done some fuck shit before. I've always said that. It's even in my bio. Like, I used to do some fucked up shit. But can I say this part real quick? And I want you to really ponder. I mean, your
Okay.
listeners to ponder on this. When I first started doing this, and whenever it was Derek, it was me. Well, Derek was huge, right? Stefan Speaks was huge. You probably had Trent Shelton, and then I started doing it, and then it was like Tony Gas, a few other people, but not a lot of people. And this was in, like I said, 2016, then 2018 for real. Now we in 2022. If you would, because I know you clumped me and Derek together, right? Name another me and Derek. It ain't really one, right? Even if you clump us together, even if you try, I fight that. I fight that tooth and nail. I don't like the comparison, but I'll let you have it. But even if you clump us together, it's still me, Derek, Stefan, Tony. It's the same people. There has not been new people in this lane that come in, right? However, since I've been doing this, that purple pill, red pill, Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, media mediocre tutorials and reviews, alpha male strategies, and the list can go on and on. Those people that do exactly what you're doing, holding women accountable, from the time I started, like, and when I started in, like, when they started that movement in 2020 during the pandemic, those people not only eclipsed me in followers, but probably eclipsed me in revenue. You get what I'm saying? So the idea that women, quote unquote, are the only group of people you can, quote unquote, pander to is it's wishful thinking, because Kevin, Fresh and Fit, and all those other people that have majority men followers, you don't think they bank into? So my point is, if anything, and then this is, I'm gonna put my stamp on this one. If anything, it's more accepted to do exactly what you're suggesting than it is for me to do what I'm suggesting or what I do. You know what I'm
So
saying?
I
There's
know a
there's
little bit about Fresh and Fit, and I've heard that he holds women accountable all day long.
Yeah,
So
that's what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
you're like him.
No, 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 no. I'm saying no. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me rephrase. So
Okay.
I'm making sure I'm clear. What I'm saying is, when I started in 2016, there was Derek, myself, Stefan, Tony Gaskin, maybe Trent Shelton. Fast forward to 2022, that would like lump us together in women encouragement type type motivational speakers. It's the same guys. Derek, me, Stefan. No new guys. There's no new guys that done came in and got thunder and got wave and quote unquote pandering to women. However, in 2022, the movement of Kevin Samuels and the red pill hold women accountable movement is more popular now than my movement, quote unquote. Those people went from 0 followers to over 1 million followers on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook within 6 or 7 months doing the we're going to hold women accountable thing. And the majority of people that support their Patreons and sending them super chats and joining up for their courses are men because they are saying things that men like to hear. What I'm trying to say is it boggles me that there's only smoke for my side, right? Like even you'll get called a pygmy, right? They'll call you, I'm sure they call you a pygmy.
Yep.
I know you said it, but
Yes.
I looked at your content for a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, they go call her a pygmy. I already know that. And I imagine they report you a lot because I can only imagine because one of my dudes, Mr. Lego, he done lost his 3rd page already. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, I'm trying not to be long-winded, is though I feel like when you are, and I'm not trying to lump you in there, so you can defend yourself after this, but when it's brought up that I'm only doing this to pander to women, I also feel like, though, even if you assume that's true, which is not, but I'm gonna just give you that, right? Just to give it to you. How does that make it different than the men that pander to men? Or the women that pander to men in order to get their likes, their comments, their shares, their super chats, their Patreon visits, and them to buy their courses? Because every man that I see doing the red pill content got a course, is telling people to super chat, and got a Patreon. Why are they noble and I'm not? So, I'm really trying to figure this out.
You're not the only person that I have come for. You know, I've talked about Derek. I've talked about several people. If you actually did go through my page, I call out women too who do this. Janae, whatever her last name was, Janelle, the black man's keeper, I called her out too. She called my mother a dead piece of shit. I called her out too. She was asking men for money, telling y'all women that you could do better, and she had all these bastard kids. So I held women, YouTubers, and Cynthia G. I talked about Cynthia G. She talks bad about men all day long, and her following is huge. And it's a bunch of women, angry, bitter women. I even told you about some of your followers, and you haven't even addressed that. If your followers have that much hate,
I don't claim them. I don't claim those followers.
Hold on. But when they say you're just jealous of Tony because people actually respect him and you ain't shit, but another one to be Kevin Samuels and you're gonna be dead like him, these are coming from your followers. So if you're promoting peace and positivity and telling women that they need to avoid this, what about their behavior when I piss them off? I'm talking about their God, who they think you're their God, because they're sending me death threats. They don't care about losing their kids and losing their job. They know what I do for a living. So at the end of the day, when people say Tony in the same sentence as I need to die, these are your followers, and they're angry, toxic, bitter hyenas. They're loud. They travel in packs, but they promote your content.
I wouldn't
want nobody doing that for me. I wouldn't want, and anybody listening to me today, I wouldn't want anybody sending this man, Ace Metaphor. Do not send him any threats on my behalf. I don't do that. That's not how I move. If you don't like what he's posting, don't follow him or block him. But I would never tell people to go to your page and say that you need to die. You're going to be next. But that's what I get.
I don't. So, I'm sorry that happened. And I don't condone that. I don't really, you know what I mean? If somebody doing that, claiming to be a supporter of mine, they ain't really a supporter of mine. You know what I mean? I don't claim that. And the other thing I want to say is like, I just think I really feel like we in this space on the internet where it's being very polarized, and it almost remind me of like politics. It's like if you blue, then you don't like red. If you red, you don't like blue. It's getting a lot. That's why I wanted to do your come on here, because it's like, I mean, I don't got no problem with you. I just like, I had some free time. I thought that this would be an interesting conversation. I do, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, you know. One of the guys that's on my podcast now, it started like this. He called me out and I went on his live, and now we like best friends and shit. I don't know if me and you gonna be best friends, but you get what I'm saying. So like, I
I
like
don't
doing
like
this,
you.
man.
I'm not
Yeah.
into that.
Now I'm gonna be honest,
No,
I really like doing interviews and doing stuff with people that agree with you is not as fun as doing this, to be honest. Like, I
okay.
like doing
I,
this more.
I did want to ask you another question. What
Mhm.
is when you said on my page, you said there's a thin line between you holding people accountable and textbook hating. What did you mean by that?
What I meant was the talking about my pockets part. I ain't like that. I'm a stand by that one. And the reason I stand by that is because I just to give you a little background, I charge $12.99 for my app. It's a streaming service. I'm trying to launch my own like type of Netflix for relationships type stuff, and it's like 10 months old, 11 months old. In January, I put $100,000 down on the first batch of episodes. Up into year to date, I'm probably 600, $700,000 invested of my own money into this podcast. So when you put, you know, he's charging $12.99 per month, but mine is free. Now I'm not disrespecting yours. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you know, it, it, it's like, yo, you don't know. You know what I mean? Personally, you don't know the investments and the things that I'm doing and why I'm charging what I'm charging. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Now, luckily, people support it. People coming on, and you know, it looked like it ain't gonna be a terrible decision. It looked like it's gonna be profitable here soon. But like, that's why I charged the $12.99 for that. The coaching call thing, I think you fixated on that. I mean, respectfully, but I'm like, that's literally. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I be forgetting I even got that link up. I literally forget that I even offer that until somebody books a coaching call 30 minutes out, and I'd be like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? I literally forget about that. So that is where I was like, man, I felt like that part was textbook hating. I don't mind the memes. I don't mind the gamemanship. Like, we do, like, that's, we content creators. Like, we do that. Like, when Kevin was saying stuff that I didn't agree with, I didn't side by side him, but I would use something he said that I didn't like as a subject for my video and then
Right.
give the reverse viewpoint. We do that. Content creators do that. So I don't have a problem with that part. It was more so the money part, because I know how much investment and hard work has went into this. Like, for the fellas that are watching, like, I spend probably $150,000 a month on advertisements. My fucking, you know, burn rate, you know what I mean, when it comes to how much I'm paying out to people is probably 50, 60,000 a month. And so, like, that's why the first thing I said to you was, I do not apologize for charging, because we get into, especially as Black people, we get into this mode where, now I respect what you're saying, doing some stuff for free. So I'm not negating that, but we get into this mode where we thinking about free, 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 giving away, giving away. But it's like, yo, if you're trying to elevate and really help people, like, I'm really like, I got people that depend on me to pay for their houses. And so, like, that pressure is immense. And so when I see another content creator basically talking about the pockets without knowing the other side of it, yeah, that's why I did feel like that was hating. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um,
I'm glad you said that, but you know that your income is public knowledge, correct? Are you mad at whoever decided to spill what they think you're making?
well, I don't know why yeah, I know. I did see
Yeah.
that shit,
And
right?
then when you say
I
100,000 and 600,000, it tells people then that is right. He is making
not,
millions. So you're kind of
not,
giving out free information, right?
yeah, nah, I don't mind. Here's the interesting part about it. I have transparent conversations like this online all the time. Like, not business savvy, because I don't never really get this deep with people. But if somebody asks, I'll tell them. Like, I'm an open book when it comes to that. But you right, you know what I mean? But I'm just being as transparent with you right now to answer why I said it was hating. It's not because that you made the meme of me and Derek, or, you know, people. If I tell you how many people call me panda bear, simp, beta this, beta, and I'm like, how am I a beta? I'm probably bigger than you. Like, I probably, yeah, I mean, not understanding some of that shit. But the pockets part, it always gets to me because, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. It discounts the hard work this Black man is doing. That's all I'm saying. Like, to assume that these women are giving me their money just because is a false assumption. It
How do
takes
you
so
like what?
much work. It takes so much work in order to make a buck, yo. Now I've gotten pretty good at it, but it still takes. I'm about to go on tour. I just did the people. This is just giving you information. I mean, just to give you context and your followers context.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to do 4 shows in January. People complain that I charge $50 and $100 for tickets. 100 is VIP, 50 is general admission.
Hmm.
Yo,
That,
I'm the tour, the 4 dates are gonna cost me before I even break even. I got to make $71,000 in 4 days. Oh, like $71,000 on the door in 4 days. Like that's the thing that people don't see. Like, and regardless if people come to that show, that $71,000 is owed to people. So again, and listen, you think people just because I say one time I'm gonna be in New York, I'm gonna have 400 people buy a ticket? No, I gotta set up ads. I gotta set up audience retarget. I gotta set up funnels. I gotta set up emails, text messages. I gotta book people. It's so much. It's so much more to it. And that's the part I wish people would understand. Now they don't because it's the internet. Y'all gonna keep assuming. Even after I explain that, right? Even after I said that I've only done 4 coaching sessions. Even if I already told you that my Ace Metaphor videos only make me, I quit saying only, I gotta quit saying that shit. Only make $5,000 a month. So that's 35, 40,000. I don't know. Let me not mess up the math. But
yeah,
people are
we're
going to
gonna get on
still,
you.
they still going to assume that the reason I'm a millionaire is because I lie to women. Not because I'm a hard worker, not because I'm proficient with advertisement, not because I know how to set up an email funnel, not because I know how to write a copy, not because I created a card game that's universal, not because of nothing else, but I'm gonna discredit this black man because I don't like his content. That's the part that got to me. And I would be lying here. Like I don't want to play like I'm cool and act like oh I'm all tough. Like that didn't mess with me. It did.
I know
You're
it.
right. When I was commenting last night in my bed, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go on that live feed tomorrow." But then when I got up here, like you seem pretty cool. Like no. I mean, I know you probably don't like me like that, but you seem pretty cool. So all in all, man, that's the thing that I call textbook heading. And but you're right. You know, shit. Yeah, I guess my money is public knowledge. I pay
No,
taxes and shit.
let
I
me say this.
guess.
Let me say this. You
Hmm.
just said all these things you do behind the scenes. Would it have been too much for you to maybe do a YouTube and go live and show your female and male followers, this is everything I do that you guys don't see? You have to let people see you in a different light, because what I'm telling you, my judgment of you is based off of what you put out there. Like, people
Hmm.
know that I don't just do Facebook posts and go on there and get someone that's doing something wrong. I also do life coaching outside of this. I
Yeah.
promote mental health. That's what my line is. And we're not the same. The only thing I charge for is my t-shirts. And there's no tax,
Yeah.
no shipping. I do all that on my own, and I send them a personal hand note. I'm not at
Yeah.
your level where I can get an assistant. I'm not there. I don't really want to be there. I like to give people advice for free because I know in our black community, 5,000, what you just said, I know someone's like, fuck that nigga. Because 5,000 to somebody a month is the lottery for them, because they will never see what you see. They will never be able to make what you make. So you also have to remember that what's little to you, and I know you did say respectfully, it might not, I know this might not seem, big to me. It might be big to somebody else, but I only get 5,000. But to a lot of people, that's like the average. They make less than that. The average person makes about 3,500 a month. So again, what you take home just off of Facebook, that's what somebody might see in 2 months. So what I'm trying to say is that when you show them the hard work that Ace Metaphor puts in outside of all this other stuff, maybe people
Hmm.
will look at you differently. Oh, he actually gives back to men. Oh, he actually does promote mental health. And you have to do enough where people can respect you. And if you don't
Yeah.
care about the respect, keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, pages like mine, I probably won't get to your level until another about 5-10 years, unless I change the narrative and I say men ain't shit. That's never going to happen. All I can do is tell people what I went through. And one thing I do, Tony, that you don't, I let people inside. I let them know what I went through, being raised by just a dad, and you have sisters and a brother, and losing my mother last minute. We didn't know what to do. Having to watch my dad try to hold the whole house together when I knew he couldn't. I tell people that going to college and getting 4 college degrees, 2
Hmm.
being a master's, I'm promoting education. We can change this narrative. We can. but we can't always want to get money. So we're going to try to be negative and do all this to get this back, because I'm telling you, it's a great ride, but you know, it's not the right type of ride. You want people to look at you and say, this man knows what he's talking about. You just told me you're in a relationship, all this money you're making. So what if I asked you, why aren't you married? So basically,
You still there? Uh,
so, I mean, what do you have to say about that?
you said, why am I not married?
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this. How long have you been with your significant other?
3 years or so.
What
3
took you
years,
so
and
long to say 3 years? Is it that busy?
you said what?
I said, when I asked you, you tend to pause a lot. And usually when people pause, they're going to lie to me. I'm not saying
Nah,
that's
nah,
you,
nah, nah.
but
Nah, your audio went out for a second.
okay, it did. I know YouTube does this to me after a
Yeah.
while. I don't know why, but okay, you've been with your girlfriend for 3 years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How come you're not, are you engaged?
No.
Why?
You know, let me tell you this. In the beginning of this conversation, I prefaced it by saying I'm moving towards marriage. That's in my immediate plans. Now that's something I don't share with people, but that's in my immediate plans
Okay,
to
but
ask
before
her to
you would
marry
need to
me.
be
Yeah.
engaged. Okay, three
Right,
years.
yeah, right. To
Are
ask her
you
to marry me. Yeah.
nervous? Maybe so the thing is, Tony, I can tell
Am I
you're a good
nervous?
guy,
No.
but
No. No.
I think you have a little bit of cold feet, because
No.
when you get engaged and married to someone, that's for real. That's real. That's not nothing to play with. And it's
No.
okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. I do this for a living, so I can
That's not
even
the
talk to
thing.
you. And
I can explain
okay,
to you why. You want me to answer your question?
well, I did
Um,
ask you, and you just okay. Go ahead.
um, no, it's in my immediate intentions to ask her to marry me. Um, I can admit, like I said, I've had this discussion on live before. I mean, y'all strangers, so I feel uncomfortable saying it to y'all, but what the hell you asked? Um, for me, this last 2 or 3 years has it's been a simultaneous like hill climb, right? Like not only did my career and my business take off way faster than I planned, but then at the same time I met a wonderful woman at the same time, and a relationship took off the same way. And for me, the balancing act of being able to tend to both, um, and it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was difficult. Like the you going from being an average earner, average guy to now being responsible for this, that, and the other, doing this, that, and the other. Then you going from a single man to being in a relationship and cultivating that with a woman. That's wonderful. And then at the same time, like being able to give attention to both the way it need to be given. You know what I'm saying? Without forfeiting one. And so like I thank my lady that I'm with now for the grace and the space to not really to allow me to grow into who I was supposed to be and walk in my purpose, because this calling came at an unexpected time. So did her arrival in my life. So long story short, like it's no bad reason as to why we're not married. It's really good reasons. However, now being more intentional, I just turned 33. Well, I'm about to be 34 this upcoming year. My lady's about to turn 30. Like being intentional now, walking into really wanting a family, wanting children. I bought a house last year, um, in a nice neighborhood in preparation for that. So like we moving and we stepping towards that. Now, in the ideal world, obviously I would have done it a lot sooner. But I'm glad that things panned out the way it panned out. So I don't have any reserves about it. I know it doesn't look as good on paper when I say it out loud to people, but that's my reality and that's my story.
You're in a relationship. The thing is, when I quoted you, it
Hmm.
it didn't mention anything about you being in a relationship. And I went to your page. Maybe I should have kept digging. You said you posted your girlfriend on your story, which disappears after 24 hours. So that could be why. Have you ever made a post like Derek did after he was hiding the world from his wife? Have you ever made a post saying like, "This woman loves me. This is who I love"? Have you ever did that? And would that be something that you just don't want to do because you don't want to be judged?
I don't want to be judged. I think I don't think about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think about it. Like, if you go to my page now, it's nothing really personal on there. Like, because it's not my personal page. Like you hit up you and that was a bone I was gonna pick with you, using my government name. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? But like that's
That's
my
what I
personal
do.
page. Now, if on my personal page, now I don't know unless you an actual friend of mine, you may not see. But I mean, she all over my personal page. I mean, I wouldn't say all over comparatively speaking. Like I think she's all over that. But like on my Ace Metaphor page, um, I
That's
hesitate. I don't really think to post personal stuff. I think if it doesn't give a person of value, like or a person or people value, it's a value. If it's not a valuable piece of content, I don't think about posting it on my feed. But on my stories, yeah, I post my life. So like, so it just is not something I think about. I'm not opposed to doing it, but I'm not that. I guess I'm not that guy.
okay. Well,
Um, I'm
um,
not the profess my love on Instagram type of guy, I guess.
okay,
But it's not that
that's
I care about being judged or anything like that.
no, I understand. Some people say that they don't post their significant other because you want people to think that you're single. Because how many people are on your Facebook page? I think on your Facebook page you got about 9,000 followers, right? So it's not as big as your other platforms where they don't. You don't get to see that what you show on your Facebook page. So that's why I asked you that because I
It's
felt like you're quick to show it on Facebook where not many people get to see it because they look at you as Ace Metaphor on Instagram. So how would they know that?
okay, vulnerable moment though. I mean, this is just being completely
But you
vulnerable.
said you posted it on your story. What's the difference,
Yeah,
sir?
I do. I do.
So she's only good enough to be there for 24 hours, but not permanently. Is that what you're saying?
Man, I'm saying to you that, and this gonna sound real toxic, but as a
Go,
man, because I hate saying as a man,
go
but
ahead.
as a man, the last thing I'm thinking about is posting something. I don't even take like she got all the pictures in her phone. I mean, she on my phone screensaver, but the last thing I'm thinking about is let me post a pic of me and Bay. Like I don't really think about that. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I just really don't. I'm not opposed to doing it though. Like it is not my first thought when I do anything like outside of content, like outside of videos or reels, it's on my story. Whether it's me posting a picture of me and my friends, me posting a picture at a pool hall, it's on my stories. That's what I do. And my stories still get viewed by like 50,000 people. Like it ain't
Yes,
like,
they do.
yeah, it ain't like it's two people, you know?
And the only reason I say that because I know people might think that you are single. You might have a big following, but I bet you if you ask people on your page on the story, like did a poll, how many of you guys think I'm single or I'm in a relationship? I bet you most would think you're single because you don't get to show them that part of you. And that's why it's easy for people like me to say it's not public. I would have to go and research and look and look and look when you should be proud to show your beautiful black queen, right? Because that's what you talk about on your page, right? So
Most of my fans respectfully are not, no, most of my followers respectfully are casuals. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
Like the thugs, they know. The people that show up every time, they know. The people that regularly engage my content, they know. I talk about it all the time. Like in my relationship, we do it. I talk about it all the time. Now, can I the vulnerable moment is this though. I often think not that this is part of my consideration, but it is something that's in the back of my mind. Is like I'm really introverted, like super introverted. I don't like being in front of crowds. I don't like being in front of people. I don't even like if this wasn't part of my job, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't post. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not that type of person. And one of the reasons is because it opens you up to criticism. I've gotten used to criticism. I've gotten used to the trolling and people come like you said, you people come in your DMs and say disgusting things. People come on your comment sections and say, hey, harmful things. Like they do that to me a lot. And I think I can handle it better when it's towards me. But when you putting other people out on the internet, like I know Derek, he did some whack shit, right? But the way they trolled his wife, with whom I know, that was hurtful. Like it was really, really hurtful to me because I know her. Like, and the idea of someone like if you talk about me, it's a different thing. But the idea if I post my lady and then these troll ass niggas want to get at me and like make fun of me like they always do or say anything about me and then they bring her in it, now that brings another side of I got to do some shit about it. You know what I'm saying? And I be worried, like that's the part I be worried about. Not from if I'm gonna make some girls, man. I don't give, nigga. I don't care. But them girls don't want to get with me like that. I mean, some of them do, but not a lot of them. right? They don't care about me from a romantic sense. They like follow me for the advice. But I be worried about, man, you say something negative about my lady, like man, I ain't gonna be so kind about it. And then so that's what I kind of think about. Um,
But you know, the platform you have, the bigger you are, it's gonna come out. See,
I
the
agree.
difference. You said you knew Derek Jackson's wife. Did you do
Yeah,
business dealings after the scandal? Yes or no?
no,
Are you guys still cool? Yes or no?
I'm assuming not.
Okay, did you hold him accountable? You, because one thing you said to me that really resonated in my spirit. You said
Hmm.
the way those trolls came at his wife, it bothered you because you know her. But
Hmm.
I hear you say the way Derek Jackson embarrassed his wife really
I did a
bothered you because you know her. What about
nah.
him?
I
Right?
did a whole nah. I had a. That's why when you asked me if we still cool, I said probably not because I did a whole online dissertation about that.
Oh,
I
gotcha,
felt I
gotcha.
felt like and really I took the videos down because it wasn't my style. Like I
You should
don't
have left
like.
it up, but it was honest. Men need
Nah,
to hear
nah. Let me
that
let
though.
me let me explain. Let me explain though, because I don't like calling out people online like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I don't like being like no disrespect to other content creators. It's just like I did it because it was authentic. I was authentically disappointed. I was disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Authentically disappointed. And um so I did the video, but then when I started seeing people, like it started getting that, so it just became a thing that I was like, man, I'm not gonna look back on this in 2 months and be proud of it. So let me just take it down. But my thing with him is, yes, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because he never presented to me to be that. His wife was always on tour with us. And even when we had private conversations, a guy, niggas will tell each other if they
Yeah,
cheat. Like
I
it's just open. He never gave that impression. Even you know what I mean. So like when it first came out, when Tasha K started talking about it, I'm like, nah, fuck nah, hell nah, that's a lie. Because people lie all the time and shit.
mm-hmm.
And so when it came out, I was kind of disappointed. But yeah, obviously,
I think
yeah, I'm disappointed in that.
I,
But I think it was here's my point. Yes, what he did to her was wrong. Period. And I'm gonna let that breathe. The part I was mentioning is though when he finally did say, and it was under some fucked up situation. It wasn't girl, you stupid for staying with him. That's not what I'm talking about. It was the bonnet. It was she looked like this. Oh, she ugly. I thought she would be cuter. It was that portion that I felt crossed the lines. It's one thing to be like, girl, you need to leave him. That's dumb. Like trolling that way. But it was like physical appearance, making fun of her, making her videos. That stuff was like, yo, she ain't asked for that. And that's probably for the longest time why she didn't want to be on the internet. When I would have conversations with her, she like, I like being in the background. I don't want to be all on his internet, on his Facebook and whatever the case may be. And I bet I don't know about my lady. I don't think she would care as much, but I would have to ask her because now you're opening up somebody to a public like I am. And not a lot of people want to sign up for that.
but the thing is, when they're dating you, they are signing up for that because the bigger you become, Tony, people are
Yeah,
going to find it out. It's not going to be hard for your girlfriend's picture to start floating around. It's best it come from you than from a troll. Because then that's where, but what you need to learn is that those trolls are going to happen whether you show her or not. But you telling me you removed the video, I'm a little bit sad by that because that's what you do on Instagram right now. You tell women to avoid Derek Jackson's. So why wouldn't you leave that content up? Because it's relevant to what you're doing now.
that's
Yeah, my
untrue.
how was it not? You were holding him accountable, correct? Or was it, I'm
A
gonna kill this
specific
nigga?
hold on, a specific person compared to the variable of a person is different. That's what I meant about it. It didn't sit it in my spirit. Like it's like if I made a video, like if I made a video towards you and posted it, the queen accountability sheet, like that would bother my spirit. Now I would much rather do a vague video where people don't know I'm specifically talking about you. Like that's different than me actually putting a name on it. Like
Huh?
that's the part that didn't sit right with me because I don't like call out videos. If you look at my whole content, I rarely do that. And when I do, I be like, man, that's not me. It's
But
not me.
hold on. But if you're calling them out for something that they've done, that's called accountability. When you try to hide it and mask it, that's called hiding because you don't want to expose the truth. That's not what I do. It's like if I heard a nurse say she was going to put poison in Kevin Samuel's IV if he came to her hospital. I held her accountable by getting her dumbass fired. I didn't say, I'm just going to speak in general. Any nurse that says this, I'm going to get you fired. No, I have to put that specific nurse on blast because I'm also saving other lives. So what you
I
have to
agree.
understand is,
I
even if
agree.
it was someone you were cool with,
It
Derek
ain't that.
Jackson needed to be called out by men because we can't
That's
let
not
that happen.
that. Look,
I called
I
him out.
did.
I did.
I did. I did.
I don't
I
regret it.
did. I said I did what I did. I made the video. It
And you
stayed
think
up for about a week. And I was like, in 2 months, I'm not gonna be proud that I did this. And I
because
said,
you held
I'm
him
gonna take
accountable.
it down. And listen, you can judge anybody can judge me if they want to judge me. It's not in my character to call out people on the internet. Now, if this is a face-to-face conversation, cool. But or a vague, generic guy that I'm referring to or woman I'm referring to, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But to say Queen Accountability or Derek Jackson or B Simone this, like for me to do that, I can't. It's just not my spirit. Like, and so I applaud people like you do it, my dude, Mr. Let Go do it. It's a lot of people that do stuff like that. I'm just not the person that it just don't sit right with me. And because I think about it for myself when I had thought about it afterwards, and this is on the Derek thing specifically, is I said to myself, yeah, yep. I said to myself, man, I'm not gonna be proud of it. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay. So
Mhm.
again, I want to say that, you coming on here, like, and to all my followers, now that I know a little bit more about him and I have those posts up saying that he's single, I will be removing that content because I don't want to be known for posting things that are not true. If you hadn't came onto the show, I would have left it on there. But now that I know you're in a relationship 3 years, then that kind of defeats me calling you single, of course. But at the same time, we might not be best friends because well, I don't mind being an acquaintance to you where I won't talk disrespectful of you unless you do it to me. What I do hope from you is that if you need relationship counseling and things, those are things that I do outside of this because I, of course, have been married and been with my husband almost 13
Mhm.
years. So having a relationship, it isn't easy, but the higher you get, you're gonna have women throwing themselves at you. You need to establish who you are and who you're with now. Because when you hide it, then you're allowing those nasty women who want to fuck you, who see you in a different light, come to you like that. But when you tell, most guys don't disclose their relationship, like Derek didn't, because he knew that would mess up his pussy game. That's all these men are about that are on here taking money. But a man that doesn't give a fuck about the money and all about reaching the people in the right way, they're going to let you know this is my beautiful black queen. I actually post my husband on his birthday, anniversaries, and my page is still known for all the content. I do it for both because I don't give a fuck what they say about my husband. That's my husband. I'm his wife. What these trolls have to say, I don't care. And they know what I do. So one thing I can say about you, Tony, I hope that you and your girlfriend work out. And I hope that I reached you in a way where you can at least start changing up what you do. Because I don't want you to be known as a panderer if that's not what you do. But they're going to keep comparing you to Derek because y'all mannerisms, the shirts with the quotes, all of that is the same. You need to kind of veer away and say, I'm not just holding, men accountable, but I'm also going to tell women in this way, hey, you can do better too. Choose better. Look at what you're doing. If you have all this hate in your heart, go get help. But at this time, I know that you probably have a lot to do, but I wanted to give a couple of people a chance to ask you a question. If
That's
that's
cool.
okay with you. Like I
That
said,
is cool.
guys, at the end of the day, guys, you got to respect this man. He does have a lot on his plate, and he gave me almost 2 hours of his time for free. So we have to at least respect him on that angle. Even if you still think he takes money from people, respect him on that angle. So I'm gonna drop the link in the comments. If you guys want to come onto the show, I can have up to 10 people. I just dropped the link. Come on. You cannot be disrespectful to this man. Don't cuss. Don't act a fool. You know how we roll. Be very respectful. Okay. So I just dropped the link and then I'll look in the comments and see if there's questions that I can ask them too. So first I have Sweeney on. Sweeney, you are on with Ace Metaphor.
Well, what's going on? What's going on, y'all? What's going
What's
on,
up? What's
celebrity? What's
up?
going on, Ace? Yeah, I've been listening to the show for a little bit. Um, it's been going in and out because of my damn internet, but I caught a few things. Now, one thing that you said that was interesting was that you said that there was a lot of pages since Kevin Samuels has passed or since he's been popular that has blown up. And uh you said that they've blown up, you know what I mean, that a lot of men have been supporting these pages. I think here's the thing with that. I think those spaces have blown up because there weren't very many male spaces to begin with where we would see women be held accountable. Well, people in you know what I mean, men and women be held accountable. And I would have to argue that there are places like somebody said in the comments, Steve Harvey, there you have daytime television. Men have always been bashed or held accountable for the things that we do, or we've been called liars, cheaters. Oh, don't trust granddaddy, and this, that, and the third, and the color purple, like Kevin Samuels used to say. And that's all been on national TV. So of course, when you look in a space like YouTube, it would seem as though these pages are growing exponentially, but that's only because this is fine. That's the only space where you've seen men be able to go on and be vocal and it not be taken down or canceled. Because as you noticed, Andrew Tate has been stripped of everything across all platforms. Kevin Samuels, you know what I mean? I hate that he passed, but that might have happened to him. Fresh and Fit, they're moving over, even though I don't really watch their content like that, but they've been moving over to Rumble because they understand what's going to happen on YouTube eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these men don't even have platforms on TikTok. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know about Abba and Preach. They made one video that spoke out again. That they made one video on TikTok and was completely removed from TikTok altogether. So if you notice, the reason why you see these spaces growing exponentially on YouTube because it's not because men are running in droves or that we support them more so than women would support you. It's just the simple fact that these are the only spaces where men can go and actually speak freely.
Okay, so Sweeney, what's your question to Ace? Because
All right.
you just said a lot, and I get what you're saying, but I want everyone to ask him a specific question.
Oh, well, I ain't got no
Go ahead,
question
sir.
for him.
Wow, so you came on here to preach. You okay? Okay, so Ace, I do have listeners that do this too. So
Yeah,
okay, so
nah,
Sweeney, you don't have no question for him at all.
No, I mean he does the content he does. I mean, hey, you know,
nah.
I'm sure he pretty much explained a lot on the. You've already asked pretty much everything that anybody else would have had anything to ask. You know, we out here just really pontificating right now.
Okay, well, thank you for pontificating. Okay, so go ahead and mute your phone. Shy
All right.
Hollywood, you are on with Ace Metaphor. And please do not talk about your past life. Please ask him a specific question, please.
Advocating at all.
Okay, go.
What celebrity? How you doing this evening?
I'm
What's
good.
up?
What's up, Mr. Ace?
What's
First
up? What's
question:
up?
did you get into this giving advice to women or the people, period, for money or for the passion?
Passion.
So why
I
you
didn't. Why am I charging? Because I couldn't do this to the fullest if I was working at my job. I used to be a nurse at a hospital. I was an RN on a critical care floor, and I worked 4 12-hour shifts a week. And so if you go back to some of my older videos, I would walk home in my scrubs trying to do content. And I wasn't able to really give my all here because my mind was so focused on work. And even when I left work, I was thinking about work. Did I give this IV right? Did I document this? Did I document that? It didn't give me the freedom to be able to really help and dive into my passion the way I needed to do it. So I side gigged. You know what I'm saying? Like I did it outside of work, but that wasn't enough to really invest. I do think that what you sow, you'll reap. And if I was only giving half effort, I was only going to get half the results. So in order to be able to do this full time, I do have to offer services. I do have to have a business that operates alongside of it so that I can sit here for 3 hours on this page and do this. I can be available to comment at 11 o'clock at night whenever I was commenting last night to be able to do this. And all this is part of my job. I consider this working. So if I didn't have money coming in, I wouldn't be able to do this.
So why not go to school and get your degree?
Well, life coaching isn't my goal. I'm not a life coach. Like if that makes sense, a career life coach. Um, I create businesses. So one of it, I didn't need a degree to create a card game, a relationship card
Okay.
game. I didn't need a degree to create a streaming service and learn how to direct and produce content as far as podcasts and etc. So that's where I'm moving towards. Um,
Hey, so let me ask you something real
mhm,
quick. I noticed that you did say that you worked as a nurse. Wouldn't
mhm.
that mean you went to school for it? Do you have a BSN, MSN? What are your credentials? Because you can't be an RN without any education.
Yeah, I went to school. I got a
Oh,
degree.
okay, so then when were you gonna tell me you had a degree? That's what I'm trying to say. I've been asking about your
Oh,
past,
yeah, I
going to
did that.
school. I told you I have 4 college degrees, and you mentioned you were a nurse. So that would mean you have what? BSN, MSN. What do you have?
I have an associate's, so I went for 2 years.
Okay, so
So I have a. Go ahead.
how the hell were you able to? Okay, look, because I worked in education 11 years,
Uh-huh.
and to be in the hospital as an RN, you would need something higher than an associate's. I thought you would have a BSN and an MSN to be at that
N-
level. With an
Now you get.
associate, hold on. With the
Mhm.
associates, that's just your gen eds. The core comes when you do your bachelor. So
No,
what
no, no,
kind of
not it. So
huh?
I'm gonna explain. I did. I
Honey,
was.
I've been doing education 11 years. An
So I'm gonna.
associate's degree is just gen eds. That's
No,
it.
let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. So I went. I was a LPN first. So I went and got a lot of the trades done, and so then there is a LPN to RN bridge that you can do. So I did the LPN to RN bridge, and then I went straight into the hospital I was like 20. Like I went right after high school. By 20, I was the youngest nurse there, and I worked there until I was like 29 or 30. Well, probably 29. So like, yeah. And so by the time they started changing all of it to where, because they're going to try to make people go back and get their bachelor's, and people was not going to do it. They like, I'm not about to go to get my bachelor's when I've been doing this for 5, 6 years to do the same thing. So it was a thing. But yeah, I worked, yeah, you can, I mean, I ain't lying about that. I worked at a hospital. I can tell you the hospital. I just don't want people in my business.
No, you don't gotta tell me. That's just that when I actually worked in higher education for 11 years, and I
Hmm.
worked for top universities, and I worked in the full nursing department. And to get an actual nursing credential, you had to have a bachelor's or higher to even be in that type of setting. I never enrolled students with an associate's. Usually they knock out their prereqs, but then you have to go and get the actual core. That's your bachelor's, BSN. So you're telling me you only had to do 2 years of an associate's, and then you went and got an LPN diploma?
No,
I've
no,
never heard of.
no, 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 no.
Okay,
It's
go ahead.
so I went to my, just not to get long winded. I went to do LPN first. LPN was like a year course, and that's strictly clinical, right? You don't have to
Right.
worry about none of the extra stuff. Then I went and did a bridge program, LPN to RN, and so yes, I had to do Englishes, arts, and all that different jazz then, and then also the clinicals that went along with it. But there were certain things that I didn't have to do, like certain histories and stuff like that I didn't have to do. So it was all the bare minimum that you needed to be able to operate as a nurse in the hospital from a clinical sense is what I got.
Okay.
And so this was in 2000, maybe 11 or so like that.
Oh,
So
so yeah,
they've been changing things now. So
it's changed
again,
now. Like you
yeah,
wouldn't be able to
again,
work in a hospital now with that. You definitely would have to go and at least have a bachelor's, a BSN, because when you first start off being a nurse, you
yeah.
do have to go to a community college and get the first 2 years knocked out. That's your prereqs, your practicals, and all that. You do all that hands on, and then you can go for your BSN, the bridge, like you just said. It's just when you said you were in the actual hospital with an associate's degree, that didn't stick with me because typically the first 2 years are your gen eds. The last 2 years are your core, which correlates to a bachelor's. You know, man, look, I got 4 college degrees in 6 years. So education is my life. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm like, I know you ain't on here lying about education now. So you also have an associate's degree, and then you have some credentials in LPN and things like that.
Yeah, but
Okay,
those things they
got you.
collecting dust.
Oh yeah, those expired probably already, right?
I
Your
I renew
certificates.
I
Did you have
renew I renew
certifications?
I renew it just because I paid
Okay.
a hell of a lot of money for it, but that's the only reason.
Okay, good. But as far as a degree, you have an associate's degree. I mean, that's still a degree, but I didn't even know you had that. So again, those are things that your fans and stuff should know. Even if
They
it's not like a master's like mine, you still want to let them know a little bit about you. Because look, I'm only going off of what's public.
Mhm.
So that would just mean that you're not doing enough to allow people to know more about who you are as a person. People know a lot about me, and I'm not scared to, because when you hide things and people find them out, then they're like, okay, so you was doing this for money because you didn't even have the guts to tell us more about you. But that's going to draw more people to listening to what you have to say, because now they know a little bit more about you. But understand, Tony, as you go up higher, the trolls, they get more evil. They're going to get more reckless. So if you're not the first person to say, this is who I am, this is what I do outside of the ace metaphor, outside of conversational cards, this is my life. These are all the things I do. I'm also a very good boyfriend to this beautiful Black queen. You're beating them to the punch, but also you're allowing people to look at you in a different light. That's only if you care about what people are saying. I know you do, because you called me out when you came on my post and started talking. Everybody saw that. So when you said that it didn't make you feel comfortable what you did to Derek, you kind of did it to me, right?
No, that's different. That's different.
You tagged me. You didn't think all my 87,000 followers weren't going to see that?
I responded. Hold on. First, okay, let's clarify this. I responded to you underneath the video, underneath another comment. Like I'm like, we just gonna be underneath this little sub comment under here. I wasn't trying to make it a big thing. So you took screenshots and you posted it and made it a bigger thing. I was just trying to comment underneath a comment.
I didn't look. Your comment sat there for 2 hours, Tony, for a reason. I didn't know you commented. I started getting inboxes and tags. So while it sat there for 2 hours, imagine how many people took a picture of that.
Yeah,
so really, I was 2 hours too late, sir. I really wasn't on my comment section like that. I have 87,000 followers, so I post and I go. But when I started getting tagged and then my inbox was going crazy, I had to go find your comment. I'm like, wow, he actually commented. So I did make it bigger because everyone already had it for 2 hours. You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, but when I'm saying, okay, so Shy Hollywood, I'm sorry that I took away from you. Did you have another question for him?
I sure do. So you said earlier, Ace, that you will post people's personal issues on your live or etc. for the public, but if they need privacy, they have to pay you, correct?
Yeah.
Don't you feel as though you're exploiting other people's personal issues for money?
No. It's a boundary of mine. Like it really is.
Help your advice. Why should I come talk to you in a public forum with people that I don't even know versus having one-on-one time with you and I had to pay for it? You my secrets, you give me advice, my secrets, my issues for money in private, but if I tell the world my secrets, my issues to you on IG Live or whatever, it's free. That don't sound like exploitation?
I don't think no, absolutely not. To me, it sounds like a business. It sounds like a service that you're providing. You know what I'm saying? I go to my barber isn't exploiting me because he charged me $50 or whatever I pay him for a haircut. The electricity company ain't exploiting me. You're providing me with a service. This person chooses this service. This service costs this much money, and that's a boundary for mine. I had to learn, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to be transparent about it. I had to learn early on that, especially with protecting my peace, protecting my personal space, protecting my time, to set boundaries. Because to her point, I used to I would literally get on the phone, or I'll call people, or I'll respond to DMs, and I would be doing it for hours. And not only would it take the time, but when you're coaching people, when you're talking to people about their problems, it infuses in you. If they're talking about depression or this or that or this problem or being abused, it's hard to get off the phone and just be happy-go-lucky and go about your day. Like, it sticks with you. So what I had to do is make a personal boundary. Like, if I'm making that sacrifice, not just with my time, but with my energy, I have to. And I know y'all. I know you laughed at my comment when I said this, because people underneath the comments didn't really relate to it. But I only charge what I feel like my time is worth. I'm not sitting up here doing $1,000 like a lot of other people. It's literally like, hey man, for me to step aside and absorb this energy, this is what it's going to cost. And that's a boundary of mine. And I hope you respect that, man, because if you got a business, you know what I'm saying, or you need to support your family, bro, you got to have a boundary of making sure that people pay for it. Like, people people will take advantage of that free stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I used to start doing shows, all my family friends, they wanted to get in for free. I have 100 people at the show and only made $10 because only 10 people paid. At some point, it's like, yo, if you support me, if you want to patronize what I got going on, you got to pay too, like with everything else in this world. So when you say exploitation, that takes it way too far. I would describe it as running a business, yo. Me doing a coaching call is a service, is a business.
I understand that you say it's a business, but why, if I come to you, I have a personal issue, I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need your help. You're gonna put me all on live and everything, letting everybody know whatever problem I may have, and it's free. And you're gonna give me some counseling. But if I'm like, man, I want this done in private, whatever, all of a sudden I have to pay. Either have it on both ends or neither end.
No.
Whether I go with you or not, I pay. If I go live, I pay. If all you,
let me explain. Let me explain the difference.
Don't pay.
The difference is the live is part of my content creation. So with that being said, it is a mutual exchange of benefit for both of us. It is you're helping me create content and then give lessons to other people that are watching. And I benefit because you give me a story or something that sparks my ideas to be able to create the content with. But when you take it,
our goal is not to have
Shy
you create.
Hollywood. Hey, Shy Hollywood, please let him finish the question, okay? I know you're passionate. I can hear it in your throat. But let Ace finish his words before you okay? Because you've been talking a lot. After this, one more question, and then I gotta move on, okay? Ace, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
So all I'm saying is just to put just to stick the landing is the difference is when we take it off the public forum and it becomes a one-on-one. It becomes where you need my full attention, not half my attention, not maybe 5 minutes, you need my full attention for 30 minutes, my full attention for an hour. You fill out the little questionnaire. I'm doing the necessary work. I might even have to consult with some of my mentors to be able to handle whatever this issue is with you. You need my full divided time, me away from my family, not me chilling in the room, my dog running around, my lady in the football game going. That requires sacrifice on my end. And all I ask for people to do is compensate me for that part of it. Not to make me rich, not to pay my rent, just compensate me for my time to be able to handle that with you. And let me tell you something, brother. And I just repeated this I said this to her. This is probably my third time saying it. And I want y'all to really understand this. I've only done like 4 of them in the last 11 months, like literally 4 sessions. If you do the math on it, that's $800 worth of stuff. Like, I just really hate that we making this coaching call thing a big thing, because the vast majority of people do not take me up on that offer. But when they do, it makes me feel better doing it, knowing that I got paid $200. I'm like, all right, at least this was worth my time. But that's a boundary for me. It is. You know what I mean?
What is your goal in all of this?
My goal, man, that's why I became, and I'm gonna say this, I always think of it like a worthy idea. My worthy idea for life is to help people, to reach people, man, to inspire people. And that's why originally I became a nurse, because I wanted to help. I wanted to, be able to touch people. And I can hear echo. I don't know why it's like that.
I muted it. Go ahead.
And so when I transitioned from nursing, my worthy idea still stayed. I wanted to help people. I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to help people have better relationships. And so that's why I do this. And that's why I continue to do this. And I'm going to add this. There's only so long you can fake the funk. I'm going to tell you, man, when I wasn't making no money doing this, when I was losing money, when I was working at the job, getting in trouble because I was making videos and I had the Kettering logo on my scrubs, when all that stuff was happening, you got to really love what you're doing. When your friends look at you sideways and they embarrassed and they making fun of you, you got to really love what you're doing to keep going on. People, like, you can't fake the funk. You can fake it for a little bit, but if it ain't genuine, you ain't got enough to make content with. Like, I post a video every single day. If you go to my page, I got over 3,000-4,000 different content pieces over the last 6 years. You can't fake it. You got to really love what you're doing to be able to do it, to do it when ain't nobody paying attention. I was doing this when I was getting 0 likes. You got to be able to really love what you're doing.
That's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying?
That's
And,
okay.
and that's the truth about it.
Okay, so Shy Hollywood, you're retired from questions. You asked about 20. Next, we're gonna jump. I'm gonna go to CBP Film. You're next.
Hello everybody. How y'all doing today?
We're doing good.
Hi,
You're on with Ace.
What's up?
hi, how you doing, Ace? My question for you, brother, is why why in your content do you misrepresent who the majority of black men are, to black women when you yourself, as admitted on your own post, was the subsection of black men that you were talking about? Why did you misrepresent all of black men like that, or the majority of black men like that? And I've seen a lot of your content, so I
Yeah,
go.
man, to respond to you, man, I think that's perception. And the reason I say that, and this is me being respectful, like, I literally am the person saying the words. Not only am I saying the words, I am the person at the computer editing the content. I've never said all. I've never said majority. I've never even insinuated as if it was that. If anything, I am intentional about specifically saying what type of man that I am talking about. And when given the chance, I would say that I don't think that that's the majority. So I think it's just based off of how you take the content. If you want to hear me say all, you're going to hear that. If you want to think that I'm saying majority, you're going to roll with that. But I challenge you to find multiple videos. I never say just one video, because maybe I slipped up once or twice in the last 5 or 6 years. But I would challenge you to find multiple videos where I'm saying all, most, majority. I would challenge you to do that, because I don't think that exists.
Okay.
Okay,
Did you have
I'll
one more
take you up
question
on
for
that
him?
offer. Yeah,
Did you have one more
I got
question?
one more question.
Okay,
I
go
got
ahead,
one more
sir.
question, and I'll also take you up on that offer. And
Mhm.
also, um, my thing is, why for so long before you just recently started doing your recent lives where you have stole some of Kevin Samuel's talking points, or points of view? I ain't gonna say talking points, but points of view. Um, why for so long were you just pointing the aim at black men, saying that black men were doing this, or that black men are act like this, or when that's not the majority of how the majority of us act at all? And then later in lives that you got private, say something that reeks eerily familiar to exactly what Mr. Samuels was saying before he passed.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna break this down into multiple different parts. A, I don't disagree with a lot of things that Kevin Samuels has said, nor do I disagree with the core points of what Andrew Tate say or this person say. Um, I can relate to multiple different points of views. I question the rhetoric. The rhetoric I didn't like, but the actual points, I don't see any real flaws in a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? So if you catch me on a live and I'm talking candidly with women about, hey, I do think that this matters, or I do think that you guys need to think about this, that's because that's how I feel. But as far as content, man, just to double back on what I said before, brother, I don't think maybe this is just me. Brother, I think if you are a rather healthy individual and you watch one of my videos, you're going to be like, he ain't talking about me. And specifically because I talk about toxic men. So if you like, well, I know I ain't toxic, so he ain't talking about me. Now I do think that if you're watching in passing, brother, I can understand why you would feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do. But if you really digesting the content and critically thinking, brother, I'm not saying most black men are cheaters, because I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I do think that cheating is a human thing that people do, but I don't think black men are cheaters. I don't think that black men are deadbeats. I think that there are people that ain't taking care of their kids, and them the motherfuckers I'm talking about. My bad, but them the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the people that are. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I gotta, and I'm gonna just put this point out here. because we haven't talked about this all day. Like, we're not going to act like some of the things that I'm going to just say a lot of the
Mhm.
things that I'm be talking about are not experienced by some Black women. So like, if we're talking about fatherlessness, if we're talking about abuse, if we're talking about manipulation, if we're talking about um, mistreatment and neglect, these are very real things for certain women. So while I do understand that some people can weaponize my content, I'm not responsible for the bottom 10% that weaponize it, or the top 10% that
It's not the bottom
mishear it,
10.
mishear it and use it and make it seem like I'm trying to bash on me. Like, I'm trying to talk to that middle pocket of people that are reasonable enough to understand I'm not talking about all men. I specifically say that, and reasonable enough not to weaponize it as an excuse for them to continue their toxic behavior if they're a woman. I'm really literally just trying to come from a place of, man, and I don't want to get long with it, so I'm gonna just make this very short. When I was growing up, man, my mother, I seen her get abused multiple different times in relationships. One time I remember going to her room after hearing a noise, and I thought she was dead. I was probably 7. My earliest memory, I don't even know, not 7, let's say 5 or 6. My earliest memory is that it's trying to wake my mother up. I physically watched with my eyes situations like that. And so when we sit and act like these situations are not happening, now I get it. The previous caller was talking about how Black men get a bad rep. And I do understand that there are things that we do have to take on the chin sometimes, or we have been taking on the chin. But we don't understand the plight that a lot of women go through as well. And so I'm just speaking to that. That doesn't mean that I think Black men are bad, but I do think abusers are bad, right? I do not think that woman is innocent all the way, every single time. But regardless, if she getting her ass beat, I want her to leave. That's it. That's just basically it. I mean, I don't know how else to say it better than that.
Let me say this,
Oh,
Ace. So being a child and witnessing that, I definitely understand that, and I'm sure you said that happened about, what was that, 20, 25 years ago that you experienced that. But
Probably, yeah.
now the times, they have definitely changed. You have more female abusers than you do men. You have women that will create a scenario like they were beaten, bruised when they did it to themselves, and the man is still getting locked up. I worked for the state for 5 years in Arizona. I was the top case manager. I pulled kids out of homes because of toxic mothers. I resigned from that position because the team that I had, they only saw the woman's side, even if she was wrong. And I myself, Ace, I was in an abusive relationship. I got my ass beat. All my followers know that. He would whoop the shit out of me. I knew how to break him down with my mouth. I knew what to say to make this man want to kill me. I've been stabbed, had black eyes. I've had busted lips, broken bones. He did a lot to me, and I still saved him in the end. So I know what abuse is like. You watched your mom go through it. I was just like your mom. I don't know how intense hers was, but this man almost killed me. And I didn't
Mm-mm.
stop loving Black men. I knew that Black man needed help because his mother abused him for years as a kid because his dad left. She would take a cheese grater and grate his face and skin. Do you know back in the day how we got the cheese grater? You buy the block of cheese and you shred it.
Yeah.
That's what she would do to that young man. And I didn't know that he suffered that trauma until I got with him. So when I call him a bitch ass nigga, weak ass nigga, I knew how to break him down. It was only a trigger. I was his mother in that moment. So I'm trying to not only help men, but women too. If I would have left, or if I would have called his dad sooner instead of cussing him out, knowing that would fuel the fire, knowing that would make him more mad, didn't give him a right to put his hands on me. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to take accountable for my tongue. My tongue was more powerful than his fist because I knew how to make this man put his hands on me easy, and I didn't even have to touch him. So those type of women need to learn that if you're in that situation, instead of egging on and stoking the fire, get the fuck out. I could have gotten out of it. I knew what he was doing was wrong. I just was comfortable. I accepted that life. That's what I did. So I'm sorry you experienced that as a child. I experienced it as a grown woman. And to this day, I still love my Black men and I still love my Black women. But nowadays, women are now putting their hands on these men and they're getting away with it. Men are not doing what my ex did to me. They're not. It's the women. They're doing far worse. They're making up lies. Anything to get this man stripped away from his child. I seen it, Ace. I pulled kids out. I had to make sure that these dads didn't jump off a cliff because the mom said that he raped the child. Do you understand what I had to go through for 5 years? It was traumatic. Not only did I
I
lose my
do.
mother, but I got into a position where I had to take kids out of homes and see dads wanting to die. That's why I became a mental health advocate. So listen, Ace, if you take anything from me today, you are still going through some things in your life because you brought up a memory that hasn't left you and you were 5 when you saw it. So sometimes you have to admit yourself that you might need a little bit of healing. And that's where I can come in and help you. Okay.
For,
Because
hey,
we
hey,
never
for
forget things like
sure,
that. We
for
never
sure,
forget things like that. So I'm
for
sorry
sure.
that I interrupted you, CB Film. Did you have one more question for him?
Can I,
Hey,
before
I
he
just
go to this question, can I just say one more?
Yes,
Because
Ace.
I want to
Yes,
address
sir.
something.
Yes.
This is how I feel. Two things can very much be true at the same time, or close to true, or two opinions can be valid. Let's say that two competing opinions can both be valid. And I think my position is, I think you're very qualified to speak to the other competing opinion. That's your lived experience. You would have that, and you would have the passion and experience to talk about that. I think from my side of it, we're a collection of our experiences and what we've been through, and it shapes the way we see the world. And the way it has shaped the way I see the world is a protective spirit towards Black women. A uncle spirit, a big brother spirit towards Black women. It does. I do not think that what I am saying core wise and my opinions are not valid, but I also don't think that yours are not valid. But I think my challenge is, why is it so important for me to adopt opinions that may still be valid, but not my experience or not my passion? Why can't someone choose to listen to both? Why can't someone choose to follow both opinions and get a well-rounded view from educating themselves and experiencing? Like I said at the beginning, people shouldn't just take Ace Metaphor content by itself without help of mentors, people that know you, psychologists, therapists, whatever, other relationship coaches. You should form your own opinion from multiple different sources of data, not just me. I never encourage people to only listen to me. So if they decide to listen to you as well, and then have two ideas and help have that help them shape their opinions, that's what I suggest. And I'm gonna say this, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this part before we get to his question is, that's why I listen to the Rare Pill content. And I hate calling it Rare Pill because a lot of them don't like that word. But I listen to Kevin Samuels. I don't listen to Fresh and Fit that much, but I listen to some Andrew Tate, mediocre tutorials and views, Ava and Preach. I listen to everybody. And it's a lot of valid shit. I don't necessarily adopt it as part of my philosophy, but it's valid. So why can't I guess my question to you is, if I'm able to say that, like, hey, what you're saying and some of the things you're saying is valid, why is it such an issue coming from the other side? Like, I'm looking at some of y'all comments that's in the YouTube chat. Like, you don't have to agree with it, but to say that the stuff I'm saying is not valid for certain people, to me, I don't understand that.
Okay, and we'll address that at the end when we wrap up. But CB Film, go ahead and finish your next question, and then we're gonna move on.
I got more of a statement than a question, but
Go
it's gonna
ahead.
be
Go
real
ahead.
quick. It's gonna be real
Go ahead.
quick. Brother, I hear you, and I just wanted to say that, yo, my mom was abused too, B. Like I understand that you have your stories and everything else like that, but we all been through some shit. We all see some. Excuse me. We all see some things. You know what I'm saying? That still doesn't mean that you should be able to create a narrative, and especially about black men, when black men are already being attacked and everything else by white supremacy and everything else. That is a false narrative about us. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because we know stuff happens, but how you say your things, because words are important. How you like these These things you're giving where you're saying, hey, no one should take 100% what I'm saying. You don't say this to your woman audience, or at least I never heard you say it. You might have, but I haven't heard you say it. It doesn't, without those contexts and without you saying that, it doesn't paint a picture of black men. It makes us all look like we are this or that, we do this or we do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that women don't have valid points and haven't been through things. But just like with Miss Daphne is saying right here, is that the times have changed. Dude, I'm 6'4". I'm 300 some odd pounds. I've never hit a woman in my life, but I've had women hit on me. I can tell you right now that motherfucker, my ex-girlfriend hit me in the face for no reason because I disagreed with her. Now I can break this woman in half, right, without even thinking about it. She was 5 foot nothing. I'd be grown men bigger than me, but this woman has the nerve to put her hands on me. And then I'm supposed to be the bigger guy and just walk away, right? But we all know that if you hit somebody, that some people don't got it all up there. And thank God I do, because I walked away. But most men don't walk away, and that's some of the same stuff that a lot of your women followers be doing to men, and then coming back and saying, "Oh, he beat on me," and not telling the whole side of the story. There's always two sides to every story, and from your content, you don't do that. And I've watched enough of your content to know you don't do that, brother. You are disingenuous at best. I don't have no problems with you. I don't have no problems with you personally as a man. You know what I'm saying, brother? I understand. You gotta get your money. But at the same time, how you getting your money is foul. And it makes us as black men, when you're a black man yourself, knowing how we are being attacked, it makes it even harder for black men like me. And that's all I got to say. Thank you for your time.
I'm gonna respond to that. I'm gonna respond to that.
CB, thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm sorry what happened to your mom as well. And thank you for sharing that. So go ahead, Ace, and address his question. And then we're going to move on to the next person.
Yo, I don't know if y'all know, I'm a black man too. You know what I'm saying? I am black myself. So I understand specifically the plight of being a black man. I am not talking about black men in general in my videos. Like, we can't keep saying this narrative that I'm pushing when I am telling you to, like, right now, unless you're not listening with good faith, that I have never said most majority. And so I don't want to keep repeating that, but I say it and then people keep coming and saying I'm painting all black men like this. No, I'm not. I am not. I don't want to be. I mean, you guys got to go listen. After hearing me say this, go find any video of me saying the majority of men, most men, all men, black men ain't this. You will never find that. And I don't want to say never, but it'd be very rare that you will find something like that.
So, Ace, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to read these titles to you, and I want you to be honest. I'm going to ask you a question after I read this off, and I want you to tell me how I'm coming off. So I'm just going to read a couple of titles, and some of this is familiar to you. So this is where I'm going to go with it. Can a toxic woman really change? Stop settling for sorry women. Stop thinking you can change toxic women. When toxic women say hold men accountable. Body shaming. Men, beware of toxic women. Don't take toxic women into new seasons. Let go of those toxic women. Toxic women are more loyal to you than their hairstylists. Would you think that I'm also holding men accountable too in that statement? Or would you think I'm only talking about toxic women? Be honest.
I would think that you're talking to men, heterosexual men, about how to avoid toxic women. Yes.
But let me ask you, but the question I'm asking you is, do you think in what you just said that I'm holding both sexes accountable in those titles that I'm telling you about?
I would imagine that your call to action is to the man that you're addressing, that you're speaking to.
And would you also say that you think that my base, it sounds like I'm only talking to men?
Yes, I would feel like you're talking to men. Yes.
Okay, so what I just read was the opposite of what you said. All of your titles have to do with toxic men. And I know that you're talking about just those type of men, which is okay, because that means they're not good, they're not good men, they're toxic. But what I'm saying is, how can women grow if they are the reason that they keep attracting these type of men like me? In order for me to have found my husband, I would have had to attract what I wanted. So me playing basketball is how I met my husband. We didn't meet at a gym, or we didn't meet like at a club or a titty bar, nothing like that. So what I'm saying is, if a woman is toxic inside and bitter and angry and evil, she will never attract a good man because of her mouth. So
I'm not speaking to that woman.
but look, some of this you have to tell the woman to work on themselves to avoid this type of person. What about the toxic women? Because it ain't just a man. Women, we want so much. We have these high standards. We want them to be perfect and good looking and have, a
Mhm.
nice body. So when he puts on a small t-shirt, his muscles protrude. We want that. But
My
how can we
t-shirts
ask
don't
for
be
that?
small.
But how can we ask for that if we ain't right within? We are not even what we're asking for. I can't say I want me a man that pays the bills and works out and has a good mindset on things, goes to school, if I ain't shit. A lot of these women ain't shit, and that's why they're attracting these ain't shit men. It's not about toxic men in general, it's toxic individuals. That's where I need you to meet me at. Meet me halfway on that. I need you. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think it would be great if you did videos on how toxic individuals, no matter the sex, can be avoided. You get what I'm saying?
And so to respond, um, I understand. I can understand what you're saying. I can understand that. Um, but also I think the topic, the caption or whatever you want to call it, the title of the video, and the video, the video gives the context to the title. For example, one of the ones you read was you did a reverse, but it was like what's the hold on, I just had it put up.
Let go of toxic men.
All right, let's go. Stop settling for sorry men. Right.
Okay.
So you made it different. But basically in the video, what I'm saying is, if all this person has, man, woman, whatever, if all this man has is sorry, never change behavior, never improvement, but just sorry. That's it. That's all you're ever offered is a sorry. Over and over and over again. Stop settling for that. We both know, me and you both know, there are people that's all they're going to do is say sorry.
Yeah.
They're not going to change. They're not going to improve. They're going to say sorry this time. Then the next time they do it, they're going to say sorry, I'm going to go to therapy, but they never do. Then the next time they do it, they're going to say sorry, I'm going to go to therapy. They're going to go to one session and there's going, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's never change. And that's general good advice. So my point is, if you listen to the videos, it's just general good advice. Now, to your point, you're saying that you want me to tell 90% of my, which is 90, you want me to direct videos. Well, no. So are you saying me do videos saying men avoid toxic women? That's what you're saying.
No,
Are you saying you would rather me do videos to say, ladies, y'all toxic too. Y'all need to change. Is that what you want me to do?
the way you just said it, there's no passion behind it. So I wouldn't want you to do that. I would want you to come from a place where you know that there's women out there that are just plain as day toxic. We see Blueface's relationship all day long, and they sit here and think he's the victim. But I saw a picture with two black eyes, and women laughed at him. But at the same time, this woman is just as toxic. She puts her hands on him. Then she tells everyone, I'm not leaving this man because he has good dick. So she's choosing to be with this man who really ain't making her number one. All they do is argue and fight. So this is her fault. So what about those women who want that toxic man attached to that big dick? You got to address those women too,
But
because a
that's
lot of
who I'm
them,
talking to.
but you're not labeling it and you're not talking about it in that light. You're making it seem like it's only toxic men who are creating these environments when it's women.
You know what's dangerous is when we say making it seem like, or like, because that's not what I'm actually saying. So like what I'm actually saying is different than what you or the man before may seem or perceive or think the narrative is. If we go to the like actual what I'm saying, if we print it off the transcripts, this is directives and call to actions to women to stop entertaining certain bullshit because that is an issue. That is an issue. Now, I want to leave you with this, and I apologize because I really do got to go. And I'll let you get the last word too, or if you got another person with a quick question. But my ending point is, and I hope everybody can feel this. Like I'm just in protect black women mode, yo. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hill that I'm willing to fall on. A sword I'm willing to fall on. You know what I mean? I don't think you can go wrong in that area. Now, if you think that I'm disingenuous because I'm like that, it's because honestly, it's sort of an anomaly. You don't really see a lot of black men champion black women. When you look at our music, when you look at our media, our TV, it's all the complete opposite. It's objectification, it's degrading, it's hold this, itch that, and it's common. It's womanizing. It's common. So when you have a man that's going against that narrative, it is seem like it's a sellout because we live in this boys club culture. So I do understand that point, but I don't, from my experience, man, life has went well for me having the attitude to protect black women. Now, if that makes certain men upset at me, that's a consequence of the course of action that I'm choosing. And I'm okay with that. I'm willing to ride with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if sometimes I go overboard with it, I fucking apologize. I don't know. But my intent is always there as if this person is a relative of mine, as if I'm 50 and I'm talking to my daughter one day. And so I do not think that if you, after this 2.5 hour conversation that I had on your live, still think that I'm just making this up to make this fictitious money from it that y'all think I'm making from this content part, then it ain't nothing I can do to change your mind. Even if I made the video you saying, it ain't gonna change their mind. You know what I'm saying? It's just you just got your mind made up. But I do it from a genuine place because this is my experience and that's the type of man I am.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Ranger, because I know he has been waiting, get his question, and then we'll wrap up. Ace, no. When after he, because he has to go, guys. He's been on for 2.5 hours. After he goes, you guys can definitely ask the question still. He'll hear it, and hopefully he can address it in the comments. Ranger, go ahead with your question, and then I have to wrap up with Ace. Go ahead.
All right, so here's my thing. You've been on here for 2.5 hours. Soon as before you even got on, Daphne was like, show you respect, this, that, and the third, and she organized to make sure everybody got a chance to speak. Now, my question is, since it seems like you can't, hold, women accountable in the light, would you show? And by the way, I've never even heard of you until I came to her channel. Would you show her the same courtesy and invite her over to your channel, but at the same time, she's blunt. If she talks to the women, respectfully, but tell them something not going to hear, would you still have her back and tell the women to respect her, as she answering their questions, even though, keep in mind, it might hurt your channel because you're not just calling Daphne out, like, oh, hey, don't talk to my fans like that, whatever, or you're not telling them what they want to hear. She's going to be honest. Would you show her that same respect, even though it might hurt your channel, but since you want to help women, you know what I'm saying?
I'll answer this briefly so we can get that last person's question. I invite people with different opinions on my channel all the time. I'm not going to actually have people come on live with us the way Instagram is. It would be more like an interview, but we do this all the time. Like I do this over here all the time. So like, I don't think people would have an inherent problem with what she's saying. And I don't think it would be vastly different than some of the other guests that I typically have.
Have you, how well do you know her channel? Because, they come at her hard. You know what I'm saying? So, since your channel is 90% women, and I'm pretty sure maybe at least like 20%, 30% of them know of her, it can get pretty rowdy. So that's why.
I'm just being honest. I do it often. That's what I'm saying. Like they might disagree in the comment section, but me and her gonna spar about it. Like if she come on my channel, like we'll pick some topics that we kind of feel like we disagree about, and then we'll just debate about it. So
let your audience talk to her and she talk to your audience, but would you let them know to, hey, show that same respect, even because she know, because they might hear
No,
something they're
yeah, of
not gonna
course. Yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I would always preference any interview like that, but I'm specifically saying, I'm just say this one last time. I don't think it would be as much of an issue as you all think it is. I don't think me and her would say vast. Even when she was talking now, like even this whole 2 hours, I don't think she said anything that I vastly disagree with. I mean, maybe some amounts, maybe she said most, and I don't think it's most, but
All right,
everything
and
she's saying, I think reasonable people understand that some of the things that she's saying, or the majority of the things she's saying, is correct.
all right, and
So
with your rise in
yeah,
fame, would you ask your girl for a prenup? Since you say protect black men, would you ask your girl for a prenup?
a prenup,
Since, would you ask your girl for a prenup? You've
probably,
been
yeah.
married 3 years, okay, and given with
Okay,
everything
boy,
going
you
on, how
going
we feel.
crazy. Okay, let me
All right,
interrupt,
I'm
guys.
good. I'm
Look,
sorry, my bad.
look, you going deep. So you said yes, you would have your girl sign a prenup, Ace.
Yeah, but it would
Oh
it
man,
would be
that's another
fair.
conversation. We're gonna have to talk about
No, no,
that,
no,
man.
no, no, no. I mean,
That's
we
scary.
can no, we can talk. We can
No, you
talk.
said
I'm
you had
not.
to go, man.
No, 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 no.
Everybody
What I'm
gonna
saying
come
is,
at you now.
I'm gonna
No,
get that. I'm gonna
I'll
get that other
ask. We
person.
gonna talk about you. No, but
No, no,
why?
no. Hold on,
Why?
hold
If
on,
you love her, why?
hold on. What? Why? What?
Why would you have her sign a prenup?
I think everybody should, but prenup. I think
Why?
there's a misconception about prenups. Prenups isn't just you. It's what you both agree on before the marriage. It isn't that if we break up, you get nothing type thing. And I think that's the misconception about prenups. It may be like, hey, listen, this part is protected, but this is what would happen if this is this and this and this and this. It's so many different things. I believe going in with a plan while you guys like each other, it's better than not having a plan and trying to figure it out why you guys don't if you're breaking up. So I just think it's a shrewd, responsible thing for any adult to do. But
Wow, I didn't do
people
it.
are people. I think people are in the mindset of there's just one prenup, and so that's why it gets a bad rep. It's a prenuptial agreement. Like you people use their vows as if it like their vows is their a prenuptial agreement instead of the actual piece of paper of saying these are the things we expect. If this happens, this will happen. So yeah, I would do that. I just think that's responsible.
I'll let you slide.
I mean,
I'll let
I
you
don't know.
slide.
I would not encourage any man or woman. I mean, I think it protects both parties. I mean, to be honest.
Have you guys talked about prenups yet?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, I'll let you slide. But
I,
I definitely would like to see Daphne on your show, whatever, and
mhm.
because I think that might hurt your channel a little bit, but
It
it may be
won't,
good,
y'all.
but I definitely all right.
What? Oh, can I say this? Do y'all think y'all do y'all? I want y'all to watch one of my lives, yo. Like I literally
Oh, we're not watching no live if it costs $12.99, sir.
no. Okay,
Mm-mm. No. It gotta be free, man.
Queen of accountability.
Striker with black dollars.
My lives are on my Instagram lives. The twelve
Oh,
ninety
okay.
nine. The 12.99 is for my actual produced content. Like we literally spend. I mean, we spend like $2,000 on an episode. We drop like 8 of them a month. And then every time you see on my tonight's conversation page like a clip, that clip cost me like $100 to make. So like
Mm,
it's just I mean, so like my content where I don't have to do production on it or pay
hmm
the cast members or
That's
whatever,
free.
that's free, of course. But
Okay, so look, Ace, I want to let this individual talk because this is an actual female that's on this
mhm,
panel. She's someone that has always repped me. She has my back. She
mhm.
believes in uplifting black men, and I wanted a female to talk because we heard a lot of men tonight. We need justice. You're on with Ace.
Hi, Ace. How are you?
What's up? How are you?
Very good, very good. I only learned about you through Daphne, and I apologize if my voice is a little bit raspy or whatever. My biggest concern to the audience at large on this right now that's going on is that if you look at the media, what's going on, there are a lot of men who are unaliving themselves here within the last 30, 45, 60 days. We're coming up on Christmas. And there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on men, from a lot of different areas and a lot of different situations and circumstances in toxic relationships, be they in a heterosexual relationship or whatever. But there's a lot of pressure right now. And I am just imploring you on your platform, while you're saying to women to avoid these types of men, that anybody who has a platform, that you stress the importance of mental health right now during this month. Is that give an opportunity for the men to realize you're not alone, because there's so many things going on. I mean, you can just run an ad, or not an ad, but you can look in the news, you can Google whatever, and men are literally like just unaliving themselves because they're so in despair, but you don't know their story. And that's the problem with just going off of things on superficiality, on things that are on the surface, because you don't really know what that man has had to endure 24/7, 365 days out of the year. And I'm not saying put yourself in that person's shoes. And I'm not just saying this directed at you, Ace. I'm saying this to all the men on the panel, all of the women who are whoever listening and whoever going to listen to this, is that please, during this season of the ending of 2022, be mindful of the types of things that men are enduring, that are triggering to them, that are setting them off. Lack of pay, lack of support, having extra money taken out if they're on child support, or being threatened with being arrested. Just all the toxic mind games that are going to be played during this season. I'm asking right from all of you, the month of December, please. Daphne is mental health,
Yes.
about men's health. Please, please press the issue with the men in your lives, the young men who are becoming fathers. There are guys who are probably expecting a baby, and you don't really know whether that baby is yours or not. And I don't mean that in any disrespect or not. But the reality of it is that a lot of the people who are pregnant may not be sure. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them may not be sure either. But they want to have somebody in their child's life. They want to have somebody to say, okay, this person is a good candidate to be the father of my child. But at the same time, you don't know the stress that that puts on somebody, not just the man, but their family members. If they have other children, if they have, I don't like the term baby mamas and stuff like that, but if they have other children, everybody is pulling on them to buy a gift, buy a present, top this, top that. I'm just asking, please, and I'm pleading personally, I'm pleading across the board. Please be mindful of the shows that you produce for the rest of December. That
Thank you.
we have a lot on the line right now with men's health. Please, their mental
Thank you.
health. We have a lot on the line
Thank you
this
so
month.
much, We Need Justice. One thing about We Need Justice is she really does go hard for men as well, just like me. And like I said, Ace, you didn't have to do this. You spent damn near almost 3 hours. And I know that this probably took some time away from what you had to do, but a lot of people I call out, they almost never face me because they know I don't fucking play. Not only have I worked for the state, but I worked in education. I was a private investigator. I still have those tools. Like I tell people, I'm not just gonna go and run people's information and all that, but I'm sorry. One thing I can say, Ace, is that I appreciate you spending the time to come on. And now I have a different perspective over you. You do have a degree, even if it's not a master's, who cares? You went to school, you were a nurse, you suffered a lot as a child. You're in a committed relationship. So all those things kind of makes me look bad that I did not internally seek this information. I could have, but I wanted to give you the opportunity. And maybe I should have done that before posting that other thing that I did. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable for that, because I'm not gonna tell one person to do something if I'm not doing it. So Ace, again, I want to say that I respect you coming on my show. Will we be best friends? I don't know. I'm hoping that if you need help and guidance, that you're not too proud to come to me. I am older than you as well. I thought you were, a different age, but I was wrong. You said you were, was it 31 or 32?
I'm 33.
33. Okay, so yeah, I got you. But anyways, I do commend you on taking this leap, because I know that, like I said, you're busy. I know that there were. I'm gonna let Louis D get his question to you, and then if that's okay, one more question, and then we can talk outside of this, Ace. If there's anything else, I will give you my information to reach out to me, and I will retract what I said in the past 2 days about you being single and not having education. I was wrong about that, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable for that. Louis, go ahead and ask Ace a question, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Good evening to the
Come on,
panel.
get to the point, Louis. Good evenings,
I
bye.
just want
Go
to know
ahead, come
what's
on
the
now.
difference. Hold on, don't have to get to it. I want to know what's the difference between me paying him $400 for the same thing that you're doing for free.
Okay,
You
so
said what?
Louis.
Say what's that? What's that again?
What's the difference between the advice that you're giving me that she can give me, and I'm saying the $400? What's the difference? If she's
Man,
certified,
man, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I understand. Hold on, I understand it's a hustle, or whatever you call it, it's revenue.
Business.
It's a business, but
I
I'm
like
just
business.
saying.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta
Um,
say. Thank you.
I'm a respond to that. And this is just for any entrepreneur that's out there. Um, I made life changing money putting questions on a piece of cardboard. That's it. There's nothing new under the sun. There's literally, rarely do people get rich or become millionaires from inventing something new or thinking of something no one's ever done before. It's how you can position yourself and what you can do, put your little spin on it, to make it a little bit different than what somebody else's has. And then it's just you being you. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think there's no difference between going to her, him, John, Joe, or coming to me. I don't think it's much difference between the Skin Deep's card game and our moments card game or tonight's conversation card game. I don't think it's much difference. But can I convince you, or can I get enough um, uh, support from this person or this segment of people where they choose to come and patronize me instead? And so that's just business. Like I don't know, and nor do I feel bad about that. So the people that would choose to do life coaching with me is because they watch me every day. They may not watch her every day. So they may choose to pay instead of choosing to go here. But that's how businesses work. I don't know how else to explain that. But I don't want people to think that, it's anything outwardly special about me. It's just if someone chooses to patronize me or if I marketed myself a little bit better than somebody else, they'll come do it. So that's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that one.
Well, I think you actually you answered that question earlier. I think Louis D was probably asleep when you answered it earlier.
Okay.
But again, guys, so again, he has his prices. If you guys still want to call him a panderer, that's fine. But I think him opening up today to me and telling me things that probably some of his followers didn't even know, that shows growth in my book. You can't judge someone off of a couple of mistakes and not give them the opportunity to correct them. And I'm not saying Ace made any mistakes, but he came on this platform when he could have been doing something else. Like I told you guys earlier, if I had his following and he was saying this to me, I would have said, fuck that nigga. I'm higher than who is he talking to me? And I got over 820,000 more followers than him. That's how I would have went at it. But he actually said, you know what? I'm going to go on her panel and I'm going to explain myself. He didn't have to do this, you guys. So to me, that shows growth. And maybe this is the start of a business relationship. Maybe I can offer him some help on how to hold women accountable, but not be as blunt as I am or as, Kevin Samuels was. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to give him his credit for coming and also admitting some things that he probably would have never said to anybody if they didn't ask him. So Ace, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on my platform and not being, hostile or even getting back at me. Could have made a meme about me. I don't know. But the fact that you came on here as a professional, it shows a lot of growth in your end. And I hope that if you need help or assistance, you can come to me. Like I said, I'm free for a reason. I'm not going to be free forever. That's true. Eventually, we do have to see a return on investment. It's just right now, God has blessed me in many ways where I can do that, where I can give out for free. You guys, so he might not be in the same position as me. He's actually spending more money every year trying to keep his brand alive. So again, I appreciate your hustle. The conversational cards, I did take a look at it. I have seen the videos on Instagram and Facebook. I've seen Love and Hip Hop people on there. So I know what you're doing is reaching a lot of people. and it's bringing a lot of relationships together. That's what I do for mental health. And I feel like before you can have a real good relationship, you got to mentally be all in it. That's why a lot of relationships and marriages don't last, because people get into these relationships. His cards is great. His cards, probably mixed with my coaching, can probably help a lot of people, right?
Yep.
We all need the help. So again, there's different lanes that we probably both can dap into, Ace. But again, man, I just want to say thank you, and thank you to everybody in the panel for attending. Ace, if you have to go, sir, you can go ahead and drop off, and then we can talk outside of this, okay?
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Okay,
Peace.
thank you so much, Ace. So, guys, I just want to say thank you for attending. I promise you, I did not know he was coming on the show, but we do have to give him the credit for coming on to this show. Y'all know a lot of people don't come on. Last person that did was my stalker, right? She came on and it was bad. He actually came on and gave us different viewpoints. He is in a relationship 3 years, right? We know that. He does have an associate's degree in nursing. That's a big deal for a Black man, right? So we got to give him his credit on that. Me being the accountability queen, saying he was single with no degree, that was only coming off of what was public. So now that I know that he is in a relationship and he has a degree, I now have to remove the shit that I said and apologize, because that's what accountability is about. I'm only going to apologize for posting incorrect information. I won't apologize how I felt about the prices and things like that. You feel me? I'm standing 10 toes down on that. But I was absolutely wrong. Y'all remember when I said I figured you'd say that? I'm not always right, and here is an instance where I was not right. Right? But that's because I didn't dox him. If I would have doxed him, I probably would have knew more about him. But I didn't go that way because he didn't come at me in a way where I needed to. Right? So again, I only dox people that I have to come at, and I didn't have to do that with him. So guys, I mean, look, he came on today. Steven and Slickman, you guys are moderators of the page. I appreciate you guys always telling people to like, comment, do what they can to bring my page up. I appreciate that. But guys, ultimately, we know there are a lot of people out there selling hope to get money, right? We know that happens. All we can do is make sure that we tell people that we care about to really do their research when they're choosing someone for advice, right? But at the same time, we also have to understand that what we might see on the outside might not be all that's what's going on the inside. Like we need Justice said, we could be judging people from what they're doing on the surface, but we don't know what's going on internally, right? So again, this was one of those things where I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit that, guys, right? So at the end of the day, I appreciate all of you guys for not, going in on him, calling him all the names that I'm sure you wanted to call him. What he did, Derek Jackson would never do. We would tear him up, right? So, and he made it clear that they're not even cool. So it says a lot about the growth in this individual that we have to at least respect the things that he has done, but we can still have our, idea of what we feel, right? And that's okay. But to anybody that is trying to start a business, you also hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. My alarm went off. I had to silence my phone. But we also have to remember that when we are creating something, we need a return on investment. Everybody's not in a good financial space where they have to do everything for free like me. Life coaching, and one thing he said about the free, he's right. I had somebody text me at 4:30 in the morning. Someone texted me at 4:30 in the morning about life coaching services. That's taking advantage of my time, right? That's what he means by that. Did I get upset with the person? No, because it's a hotline, right? I'm still going to answer it. But guys, respect my time too. I'm one person. There's no need to be texting me that late. Send me an email that late if you're going to do that. But when you text me that late, my husband's worrying too. Who is that, right? So you have to respect my time as well and know that I'm not your coach for you to talk about other shit that I don't help you with. I genuinely want to make sure that you're good. This is December, the month of giving, and I want to make sure I can give back to people the best way I can. You feel me? So again, guys, we can all have our judgments of people, but I appreciate this man for coming on today. And I appreciate my listeners for not disrespecting him. I know how y'all go in, because when we had Charlena on here, y'all was calling her Silverback too. We always riding that train. So guys, look, y'all remember that. I called her Silverback. So at the end of the day, guys, we are all in this together. And at least he came on the panel. Do y'all think Derek Jackson would come on? Never. He wouldn't. He'd say, I'm bigger than her. So Ace Metaphor is just as big as him, maybe bigger, because Derek has a bad reputation now. So guys, again, I want to say this to you guys. I care about every one of y'all. I know this is the holidays. I know a lot of you guys are probably low on funds. Okay. So I know that you want to be able to get Christmas gifts for people. And I know it's tough. I do have mental health shirts that are Christmas related that I think your family, your brother, somebody would love it. If you guys are hard on dough, I will send you a free shirt. No charge. I'm willing to send free shirts to people. They're good gifts. I can customize shirts too. If you guys have a family member and you want to do something special for them, I will customize a shirt. If they have a favorite team, if they have a favorite saying, I will put that on a shirt and send it to you personally, free of charge. I'm doing that for 5 people. I need you to inbox me on my email, please. Email me at accountabilityqueen@aol.com. Tell me who the shirt will be for and tell me what the ideal is. And if I can fulfill it, I will do it and get that shirt to you before Christmas. That is my promise. I'm doing that for 5 people. It does not have to be a mental health shirt. If your dad has a favorite saying like, nigga, who's in my house? I will put that on the shirt and make it special for him. And that is a good gift too. Those things that they would love to wear around the house. The sizes I do is up to 3X. So again, I'm doing that for 5 people. I will customize a shirt to your liking for your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, whoever is the person in your life that you love. I will do that for you free of charge. Okay. 5 people, accountabilityqueen@aol.com. You don't have to like this show. You don't have to comment. You ain't got to do all that bullshit that people make you do for free stuff. Email me, tell me who the shirt is for, and tell me what you wanted to say. I will then customize it, send it to you for approval, and I'll put the order in tomorrow. The orders will be going in tomorrow, and I will make sure you have it before Christmas. Okay. Guys, look, I respect all of you guys, and I really love that y'all rock with me this long. Thank you so much for having my back. Thank you for not giving up on me. And I hope that you guys all have a good rest of your Wednesday. I gave y'all 2 shows this week. Give me some flowers, y'all. Y'all know I never do this. And I'm going to do another one. Maybe me, Ace, can do another one. Maybe I can get Derek to come on and we can call it Cheating Motherfucker Part 1. He probably won't because that's probably too blunt. But again, guys, it's all about growth. We have to grow, right? Together. We shouldn't have to steal from people or hurt people to get attention, right? Let's do the right thing, but understand that everybody's not in a financial position where they cannot charge you. You know, they have to charge you something. He even admitted maybe those prices are a little too high. I put them there. That doesn't mean they have to pay. He's right. They don't have to pay. But again, maybe that will change what he is doing now as far as the pricing, right? So again, guys, I'm gonna let the people on the panel get one more word and then I'm gonna close out. I will start with Sweeney. Anything you want to say, dear? I saw your face already. You ain't slick. We saw the face, Sweeney. I saw a roach on the wall. Sweeney got roaches, y'all. No, I'm saying, go ahead, Sweeney.
Oh no, I will say this. I do appreciate them coming on your platform because you are absolutely right. Most people won't do it. So you're right about that. But man, I'm glad I came up with my question after I got done pontificating. But golly,
you need a shirt to say that. If you use that word one more time on my screen, spell it. I tell people spell it when they use some big words. Spell it. They be like certificate. No, but thank you, Sweeney.
But I will say this though. He said a lot of things in regards to he feels that his need to defend women, and I would like to say that I see what he's coming from. He is coming from a space where he went through whatever trauma he went through, and that's the space he has to be in, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
I will say this though.
Here we go.
When you come into a space and you start speaking to other people, you have to come from a place of reality. So I would expect him to at least know the data to know that when you're talking about toxic relationships or when you're talking about abusive relationships, it's mostly bilateral. I would hope that you would speak when you talk about people being verbally abused, that men are more likely to be verbally abused in relationships than women. I would hope that when you speak, you would talk about these type of situations because as of right now, if anybody goes to your page and reads and sees your content, it would only appear that men are the only ones that are problematic in these spaces or in these relationships. And I think that's where that one guy was coming from. He wasn't necessarily saying all you're doing is talking about all men, but more so saying, well, why are you only talking about men rather than talking about toxic people in general, as you said it.
Right. That's what I said. You're right. You're right. Well, Sweeney, I want to say thank you because the questions that you asked him, and one thing I do respect about Ace, he didn't say no comment to not one of them damn questions. When he was asked about a prenup, I would have said no comment. That ain't none of your fucking business. But he said, yeah, I'm getting a prenup. He didn't even second guess it. So y'all got to give this man credit for answering those uncomfortable questions. I wouldn't even feel comfortable to. Now, me and my husband, hell no, we don't got no prenup. But we're not looking at divorcing. I always thought a prenup to me, and maybe we should do a show on that. I will do a show probably this weekend. I'm gonna give y'all 3 this week, and we're gonna call it prenup. And maybe I'll have Ace come on and explain why a prenup is important. Because we grew up that if you need a prenup, that means that you foresee y'all probably not making it, not working it out, right? So I don't have a prenup with my husband. And I know a lot of my married friends do not have prenups. That's the last thing on our mind. We expect to be married. We expect our first marriage to be our only marriage, right? So, but I know in today's world, marriages don't last. But I feel like if you think you need a prenup, you might need to go through some intensive marital counseling first before you jump into a marriage, because the whole goal of the marriage is to stay married, right? And I feel like adding that paper in there, it gives them that chance that if it don't work out, at least I know I can get this or I can cut it off. It makes it easier for someone to cheat and then say, well, we got a prenup. You ain't getting shit. We leaving. No, I wouldn't marry someone if they asked me for a prenup. But I think that's a great topic to talk about, because a lot of celebrities get it because they're protecting their millions, right? But common people usually don't get prenups. But I would love more clarification on that because I don't have one myself. But thank you, Sweeney. Louis D, go ahead and get your last. Hopefully it's a couple of words and not a whole paragraph. But go ahead.
I'm gonna refuse that statement. I just want to apologize to trolling. First of all, I'm a man of the show. I apologize to trolling. But something just still don't sit with me about. I just can't put it together about how it's always the toxic man when we all know it's toxic women. And listen, if you want to continue pandering to toxic women and they dumb enough to believe it, I'm sorry, I can't knock a man's hustle. So all I gotta say, y'all guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you. And then we will go next to, I think it's CB Film. CB Film asks, you had some good questions too. What's your wrap up, sir? CB, you there? CB? CB
Yeah, I'm
going
here.
once?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead, CB.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to say I respect him for coming on here and saying what he said and doing his thing, but I'll be honest. Um, I feel like a lot of stuff that he was saying was fluff because I corrected myself like 3 times and didn't say all. And he kept on repeating that point. And I just started using men in general. Um, but he kept on hitting on that point, saying all, and that's not, and he wasn't necessarily answering the question. I felt like he was scapegoating around the question by focusing on that one part. So I give him his credit and give him his flowers for coming on your platform and doing your thing. And of course, if you the host, so if you ask me to respect the man, I'm going to respect him. But um, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the questions, I mean, I understand he was answering a lot of the questions, and I give it to him for that. But for the most part, it was just for a lot of those questions, and a lot of those answers was just fluff, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're definitely entitled to your opinion. Like I said, nobody is 100% perfect, but at least this man came on and gave us 2.5 hours, no charge. If he's charging people for his time, he charged me absolutely nothing. He gave me his time for free, and maybe that's a start of him doing it for other people, right? You have to start somewhere, so we have to give him credit. 2.5 hours is a lot of time, y'all. I told y'all this was gonna be a quick show. How many times do I tell y'all a 30-minute show end up being 3 hours? Every show, right? So I always try to keep it under an hour, but y'all keep me entertained and we on here all day. So again, him giving us that much time when I know he's getting pulled from every direction, this to me is a start. Maybe he's gonna switch some things up for us and change it up. Let's give him a chance to grow. Okay, he's only 33. Next, we need justice. Go ahead and wrap up, dear.
Hi.
Did you
Can
say
you
hi?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi. Just in the thought process of that is that um I've had men who have charged me up and said that they don't need me, that men don't need an advocate, that men don't need someone to stand up for them. And I've had that to come from Black men and white men. And then I've had other men who have said, we need you. And you're not going to fit into a mold because all of us have our own trauma, our own experiences, our own reasons for why we do what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for those of us who are doing it, for free, because it's just who we are. It's what we, want to do or whatever. But my biggest thing right now is that if somebody is talking and making some type of effort to get the word out, to hold people accountable, and if we can just get justice. And so for me, mine is we need justice because so many things are not being prosecuted. Things are happening. People have been given free passes to behave badly, to treat people poorly, and they've hid behind gender. And they've done it for hundreds of years where we've just given women blanket, oh, she's being hormonal, oh, she's just being a woman. No, it's like you can't just give people an excuse or an out based on gender for bad behavior, for the things and the choices that they've made. And you have a lot of good men who are being trapped by toxic and bad people.
Right.
And so once you get somebody in a situation and they're trapped and they can't see their way out. So I'm still just imploring for all the content creators for the rest of the holiday season, please be mindful that there are men out there who are unaliving themselves and on the verge of unaliving themselves, and anything that you can say or do to help them to be aware of their mental health, of stepping back from not committing suicide, from not committing acts that unalive other people.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other ways to get around a prenup. That's called having a will. Is
Mm,
sitting down, having a conversation, and having a will in place, having
mm,
a trust in place. If you've got certain things that you want to go to a certain place or to certain things, and you want things happen, sit down and have a will. Everybody should have a will. I don't care
facts.
if you don't have but 50 cents. People will fight over that 50 cents when you're dead.
That's right. That's
So at
right.
the end of the day, it's not for me. It's not about the prenup. It's like if I have a will and I have a living trust or whatever, and I say this is how I want my estate handled, this is how I want my affairs to be handled. All those kinds of things. You can get digital rights management. You can get your intellectual property. All those things matter at the end of the day. How you value your estate. All those things matter, and it does not have to come in the form of a prenup in order to accomplish that. So just
Thank,
be mindful of that. On the topic of prenup is that you can incorporate, do you have a will? Do you have a living trust? Do you have advanced directives? All those things
right.
are things that people aren't doing. But if I don't talk to you again on your show
Oh no,
before the
you
year is
will.
out,
You
just know
email me
that,
all the time. We need justice. We ain't done.
yeah, but I don't, I haven't been able to come on, and have a conversation, whatever. But I appreciate you and I thank you for, most of all, holding yourself accountable because that's key. None of us are
Yeah.
above needing to be held accountable. So I appreciate you and thank you for everything that you're doing. Everybody take care.
Thank you so much, We Need Justice. So you guys heard that part that she said. I could have been the person that says, you know what, I'm just gonna delete what I said and just move forward. But that wouldn't be holding myself accountable, guys. Um, I get it wrong too, and the reason why I got it wrong this time around is because I did not decide to dox him and dig deeper into this man's life. I looked at what was already public and went with that. Because typically when you get a degree, when you go to school, when you're in a relationship, it's something that is public knowledge, especially when you're giving advice to people. And I didn't see that for him. It said that he was single. The most recent blog I read this year said that he was single with a net worth of 5 million. So again, not even whoever quoted that blog knew that this man was in a 3-year relationship. That's how private it was. And even though he did post it on Facebook, his Facebook only has about 9,000 followers. So I didn't even know it was a real Facebook, because we know him with Instagram having almost 1 million, TikTok having almost 1 million. So I didn't even believe that that was real. So when he said that he posted his girlfriend there, that's a smaller platform than what he usually posts on. And I would think a woman that you love should be on the biggest platform, right? I've posted my husband. People call my husband ugly, but we all know that my husband isn't ugly. I don't care what they say about me. Call me ugly and all that. I know that you calling me names means that I'm reaching you in some type of way because you're that mad. But one thing that I did wrong was I should have waited to get the information from him, and then I wouldn't have, posted all that stuff. But I will retract it, and I will hold myself accountable too, right? But again, guys, I want to say thank you guys so much for 3 hours of your time. There was a lot of listeners on tonight's show. I was very surprised to see how high the ticker went up. I want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So again, In order for me to customize a shirt, or if you want one off of my website, you would need to reach out to me, because if you don't follow these steps, I will skip you. These are simple steps to get something free. People love t-shirts, especially custom ones that mean something, right? It could be if you had somebody that passed away, you send me a picture of them. I could put angel wings on them. I know how to do digital customization. I do it all by myself. I'm willing to customize or give you a shirt off of my website for free. Please don't take advantage of the free. If you say, well, I just wish I can match it and have two of them, you need to pay for the second shirt. If it's more than one, you got to pay for the rest of the shirts, guys. Okay? If it's just one, email me at accountabilityqueen@aol.com who the shirt will be for and what you want the shirt to say. I don't care what the customization is going to be. I can do it. So don't worry about me putting in the time. I'm devoting this time to my followers, and I'm giving 5 people a free t-shirt, okay, of your choice. If it's not one on the website and you have one in mind that you want, your logo, you just started a business, I do all of that. And I will do that for you for free. Please reach out to me, accountabilityqueen@aol.com. If you guys have any stories you want to send to me, I have received like 15 stories. I'm going through them, everybody. Know that I'm one person. I don't have an assistant. I don't have someone helping me. I read my DMs. I have gotten to like 5 people yesterday who emailed me and texted me like weeks ago. And I'm sorry about that. I always apologize. But when I do reach out to you, please don't act like I'm God. Don't act like I'm a celebrity. I'm fucking nobody. I am a human just like you. So when I reach out to you, you say, oh my gosh, she reached out to me. It ain't even that deep, y'all. I'm a human being just like you. I'm not special. It's just communication, you guys. I'm one person. So just know that I don't like to be praised like that because I'm not nobody's God. I would rather be a friend or somebody you look up to, but I'm nobody's God. Please don't ever label me that way. I'm asking you guys, and please don't go on Tony's page. I'm sorry, Ace Metaphor's page and disrespect him. That is not what I want to exhibit. I don't want people to think that I'm that person. Okay. So again, you know how to reach me, the Queen Accountability. You know, I'm on Instagram, my Facebook, y'all know it's Daphne Ford Sutton. So if you guys need me, reach out to me. Other than that, I want you guys to have a safe Wednesday. And I honestly think I'm gonna do a show Saturday called Prenup. I need to know what's the importance of that to you guys. Like, should it be there? Should you get a prenup to protect your money? Why would you need to protect your money from your wife or your husband? If you love them, there shouldn't be something in place because you might not make it. The whole point of getting married is because you love this person. You went through the dating phase. You went through the testing phase. You know this is the person you want to wake up with. All of these old school marriages, there's no prenup around from people that we know, not rich people, but regular people, right? We know there's no prenup because you actually love this person. But I feel like a prenup protects that person just in case they fuck up. They know you ain't getting shit. And that should not be the reason. That should not be out there, guys. Prenups, no. Like we need justice said. What about life insurance and a will? That's something that people never do. Y'all worried about a prenup and you might not even live that long. You need to be investing in the right things, you guys, especially if you have kids. So we can go deep on that. But other than that, guys, I want to say thank you for listening tonight. Please have a safe Wednesday. You know how to reach me on my Instagram. I do have a hotline. Right now, my life coaching services, I am booked. But I'm booked, meaning I don't have any free space. But if it's an urgent thing where you need to speak to me, not that you're going to kill yourself, but you need to speak to me and it's urgent, please text me. Go to my Instagram, hit the text option, shoot me a text. I will reply. I promise you I will reply. If it's something that I think needs to be addressed, I will actually call you straight up. No worries. So even though I'm already booked, I will still make time for you if it's important. And I mean important, like you have a question that needs to be answered. Don't ask me, does this look good on me or does that? That's not what I do. I don't care about your looks. Okay. So guys, I hope you guys have a good Wednesday. And again, stay blessed. And I'll see you on the next show.